That's it. We are live today. Today is the 24th of May, 2015, Thursday, the 24th of May. We've got on the panel Tommy from Canada, Astral, Patricia from the UK, and David from the UK. I can hear it. I can hear me talking. David, as you know, comes on. He talks about, well, law, but not that kind of law we should understand about the law.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah. Yes.
So hi everybody.
Good evening. Good afternoon, evening, or wherever you are. Hi everyone.
Hi everyone.
Hope you're fine.
Patricia, you can say hello. Patricia.
Yeah.
Can she get on?
I'm here. I was just waiting for everyone to finish so I could say something. Hello, everyone. Hope you're all well.
Hello, Patricia. Cool. Evening, sister.
Well, David, you've got masses to say, haven't you?
Sometimes. I might have.
I've seen you doing loads more hangouts and stuff. I feel a bit bad, really, because I'd like to watch some of them. But when I notice that you're live, we're live.
I know, this is it. Yes, I know. I'm going to get you on, and so you can say hello to the subscribers of Indiglo as well. I think they'd like to. I've told them where you are and about your channel, so yeah, that'd be good to get you on ours as well at some point when we've got free time. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I should come on one of your hangouts, shouldn't I, or something?
That's what we're going to do. I'm just sending you and his email for his Gmail if we get any time later.
Do you want me just to send it to him, or do you want me to wait until we
send to you now? So you've got it. Yeah, he's the right hand man of what I do now. He's coming up to help out and partake in some of the courses and stuff from the .com, and yeah, he's a good lad, Karen. He's a good lad.
Oh, that's good. Do you want me to send it to him now then?
Yeah, he's got work at 6 in the morning, but so you guys are getting what you need to get in. We just wanted to have a chance to talk about our projected plans for the trust and going forward into the private, and how we're going to facilitate that, and the courses and the structure, what we're going to bring, and then the successes that we've had, so we can correlate the first-hand knowledge, what we're actually trying to teach, to practically using. And then there's a little bit about we'll call it Junio, an academy that we'd like to set up in the trust, and we're going to do a search for some teachers,
just in case people don't know what is the trust. Just explain what the trust is, David, just in case people are listening and don't know.
We'll talk about that later, but a trust is essentially it's an established area of an environment of which is either public or private, and it's set up to have a trustee, some beneficiaries, and those are the two main bits there. And then you have a guy at the top, the settlor, who owns the property. So somebody might want to have some property protected, or they might want to hold it till an offspring or somebody's of age, and then they might come of age, and then they might inherit an estate, say. So you will have heard of a will and a trust, where somebody passes on and an estate gets left, and an executor will manage that estate and pass it on to the beneficiaries of that estate, namely the siblings. So what we've learned to do is look at law and extrapolate what kind of a relationship they are purporting to have, and then we will challenge that relationship, and we will correct that relationship and see how the control measures differ from the argumentation and the rebuttal that we've since seen from the Freeman, lawful rebellion, Magna Carta, and lawful dissent areas. Common law is what we go on, but we use trust because trust is a clever bit of technology, to be fair.
It's a way around things, is it?
No, it's a way of doing things just, righteous and proper, as the divine creator intended us on doing so. But the Roman civil court system and the law system, as Santos has taught us and others, is got us in invisible bonded chains, of which we are now all debt slaves to, and we don't know how or why. But that's where we go. That's where Andy will come in, because he's going to join me and do some we'll call them consultations from the website, and we'll do the YouTube chats. We'll be on Facebook, and we'll be on the road doing seminars and traveling about doing all that.
Partner in crime.
Yeah, that's it. He is indeed. We just done one at Liverpool, reference events at Alderhay, and yeah, that went down all right. So he helped me present that and host it. Just gone down in Liverpool, yeah, last Saturday. So we're going to do some more. Like we're just expanded at the minute. We're going through marketing and promotion, brand awareness, and yeah, this guy is he's come from YouTube. I didn't know him from Adam. He rang this phone that I've put on the website that anybody can call at any time. It's amazing what happens with this. And he came through, and we've linked up and met and had some seminars. And here he is, you know, standing by the side, helping out. You know, he has a unique way of referencing stuff. I use too many words. Andrew simplifies it down.
Oh, that's good. And you've had another success, haven't you, as well?
Yeah, I presented in a magistrate's court for a traffic officer laying a charge upon a road traffic management infraction, and we presented and we got the charges disclaimed. We've repelled bailiffs and agents and things like that. We've had PCNs, parking charge and penalty charge notifications dealt with. I've just rebutted 45 PCNs for one beneficiary. I'll keep her private, but for an administrative error ended up with her being a registered keeper and she wasn't. And these tickets came through from 8 issuing boroughs in London, and they built up because of personal health and issues. And, you know, sometimes guys can't get to the post, and because you can't get to your post, sister and brothers, doesn't mean you're guilty. But under the civil procedure protocols, it means if you don't answer within 2 weeks, you lose the chance and the right and all this. And the next thing, Big Barra's here, knocking, saying, well, and then you might have come back by then, you might have been ill, and then you're like, what's going on? Next thing, you know, and it all gets out of hand, so we can step in and go, oh, let's just stop this. And that's where, here he is. Hey up, Andy. That's the man there. That's him, Patricia. So, yeah, you might want to reintroduce, and I'll yield. All right.
Oh, well, everybody, this is Andy, who's now with David.
Bonjour, good evening all. Thank you for inviting me, and thank you for having me on. Very gracious, much
Hello,
blessed. Thank you.
Just to explain to you, the person with the headphones on is Astral. He's an Englishman. He lives in Denmark. Tommy is the other person with the camera on, apart from David, and he's from Toronto. And then Patricia's the non-compliance cushion. She's from the UK. Obviously, David's the UK, and I'm the UK. It's very strange that we've got a whole sort of. We're usually overrun by Americans.
Okay.
More of an English hangout.
I'm of the Anglo landmass. The UK is a corporation. So.
Oh, he's off. He's off. Look, welcome.
Sorry.
Yeah, corporation, unfortunately, isn't it?
It is, yeah. So. If you reside on a piece of paper in somebody's drawer, then I'm sure there's not a lot of room.
So you live quite close to David, then?
No. We've befriended through the YouTube account. I called him up and you know, see if there's anything that I could offer, and we spoke on a personal, individual level, and he obviously connected with what my cognitive training was, how I seen the world, how I interacted, how I enacted within and without the system, and he seems to really resonate loud with him, and I was exactly what he was looking for, to try and bring forth what he's saying in a less complicated manner.
I'd speak it too much.
I see.
I really enjoy the way Indy speaks. It's like pure poetry, honestly. I
Absolutely.
Love it, really, it's. Yeah, some people can just hear it, you know. It's just
absolutely
flowing off your tongue. I love it. Thank you.
But a lot of people on the beginning of their, shall we say, waking up cognitive train, they find a lot of it difficult to comprehend all at once. You have to watch over him 3 or 4 times each video, you know. So he can say a 5-minute section of law, and I can come in and go bish bash bosh. That's how I do it. So, you know, or he covers the acts and statutes and whatnot, and I carry those that are just divine and natural and righteous and proper.
You know, we have people that are just very colourful. David is one of those people.
Absolutely, and beautiful with it.
You know,
absolutely.
Plus, he's a very nice person too.
Absolutely, we are the yin and yang. He's 100 mile an hour. I'm laid back and, you know, slowed down a piece. So we're perfect together.
It's true.
Oh, David.
It's true. No, that's good. That's what we are.
I'm a bit more like that. Out of me, Astral and Patricia, I'm probably the more one, and they're the more quieter, sort of more calmer ones than me. Oh my God, I should pull my hair out. Yeah, you need calmer people. If you're a bit more excited, you need calmer people around you.
Absolutely. But then we need the excitement of the excited people to make us calm ones realise how exciting things are.
Not just that. David knows.
Miss it.
David knows so much. I reckon when he starts, he gets asked a question and he probably goes, "Where do I begin?" There's a whole book to read out, basically, isn't there, of information?
Absolutely. But and it's a beautiful thing, ain't it? But because I'm a man of few words and I've lived quite a sheltered, private, quiet life, I just try to get myself across in the most quickest, neatest, beautifulest, equitous way possible. Straight on point, no vexation, no frivolity, and just straight in, straight out. Thank you, bish bash bosh. Commerce is completed. Thank you. Go home again. And so I think each to their own.
Sorry, like you just did then.
Yeah.
when you see this in playback, right, you will laugh. I'm telling you.
You don't watch the playbacks.
No.
You don't like them.
It's okay, no.
You just had a success that you were just about to explain it, and then you came in. So, do you want to talk about that first, then?
Yeah, we had Andy can. I'll let Andy do that, sister. It was with regards to the viewers and our like establishment and movement. We was regarded as how they'd put it in Latin. Is it compos mentis? We're not very compos mentis, and when you look at compos mentis and what that is, Latin. When they took away the silver and the silver backing of the money, they took away phonics and etymology, and these languages that we use, this English is very powerful if you know the correct words of which to speak of. And brother Andy here, Andy Sovereign Smith, as is known on the FB community, and on Tube when we have a chirp on Tube, he talks proper and just. And these words that you can use, you'll be amazed. We've said before to watch Chiron last videos and look at etymology in the words, like how they sound the same. Like when you go on holiday, you go to a terminal, don't you? An airport terminal. Well, it's a terminal. Look at what a terminal is, and why would you? It's just crazy, the language. So Andy's able to now command it. Like what we do in person is very dangerous when you are on the front end of it and you are defending a beneficiary's rights and property and so forth, because you get Big Barry and sometimes officers and a lot of emotion and commotion. And the other side of it is, I've done this once, and Andy said that he'd got some things to do the next day, and he might be called into action. But when we say called into action, we mean via the telephone. So what he's about to say is what he's done via using a telephone, which is quite a rarity in itself. It's hard enough in person to repel and to sort this out legally and lawfully. So. I just thought it's anytime somebody manages to do something like this, it needs to be celebrated and exposed for what is possible.
So do you want to explain a little bit about what happened the other day when you had this success?
It's just basically an individual came to me to say that a corporation was coming to his private dwelling to enforce themselves and impose themselves to fit some prepayment meters to his property. Now, when we look at the acts and statutes that they call the law, these meters are to be fitted by agreement, and there hadn't been agreement, and the claim was in dispute. So basically, whomever was coming would be out of their jurisdiction and capacity. So I've explained this to the chappie in question, the private man, and he's gone away to look at it. And the very next morning, 8:30 in the morning, there was a warrants officer and so the gas safety people, and I think there was a locksmith there. They'd come to impose themselves and trespass upon his property to force these meters, essentially to collect revenue, leaving him in further debt. So I just basically spoke to the gentleman on the phone who purported to be a warrants officer, and I asked him of his capacity today and whom he's there for, under whom's authority, and which jurisdiction. And I asked for the proof of it and to be identified, videoed, and recorded. He wouldn't give these such things as evidence, and he duly run off to go and call the police. So the police actually asked to speak to the private individual, and he put them straight. He said, you know, it was in his private capacity, in his private dwelling, and these people have come in with a commercial warrant in a commercial jurisdiction, and they are actually trespassing upon my person today, and they shall be trespassing upon my property. And if they make any sort of criminal damage or anything, I expect you here as a constable of the law upon your oath to the people, and to arrest this man for trespass. And with that, that's exactly what they told the officer and everybody else who had come today to impose himself, and they duly went off with the tails between the legs. And the quote of the day for the individual himself who I'd helped was, the officer had said to him, you know, your friend Andy isn't doing you any favours. He said, but you're still leaving here with nothing though, aren't you? So whether he's doing who the favours or what, if he's not getting paid on a commission basis today or what, I don't know. But, you know, the people... Did
it mean that with these meters being fitted, this person had to pay for them as well? Is that what it was about as well? Because he said losing money.
Because they'll charge you for fitting the meters. They'll charge you for everybody that's included on the doorstep today. And all this extra, should we say, undue bill goes onto the top of for you to then pay off in like some sort of a weekly or a monthly instalment plan, whereby you're trying to constantly settle the debt with another debt. And
I never understand this, because I'm not talking ill of anybody, because it doesn't happen this way for everyone, but often the poorer people or the lower income people end up having the meters fitted, and that's more money. The electric costs more
at a higher rate.
I just don't understand.
Because they're not fully aware of how to enact and conduct themselves correctly in a commercial capacity. They don't realise they have a commercial and a private person.
I will say this though, the gas came to my house the other day because I paid for something on my boiler because my boiler keeps breaking down. So he came and did a service, and he told me that in 2 years via the government, everybody will have a smart meter.
Again, that'll be by agreement. They can't impose themselves upon you and trespass upon you, can they? That's against the divine creation and divine law.
Well, Astral spoke to him for a little bit because obviously. And he seemed to think that there was nothing wrong with the meter. He wasn't on their side. He was talking. He knew a lot of stuff, but he said
we were trying to. Sorry, we were trying to red pill him, weren't we?
Yeah.
We were.
He said the only way they can do things to stop it is they'd have to actually dig outside your house and turn it off out there on the road. That's what they do. They can't do anything with the smart meter. That's what he said.
Mm-hmm.
Astral smiling away there. He's got stuck now. Look on a smile. He thought that was funny.
I can't see it, but yeah.
It's stuck on a smile.
There's a naughty smile. It's gone now, but there was a naughty smile there. Although it's there, it's gone now. But he said these meters can't do anything. They can't stop your electric or anything like that. But if they had to, they would dig it out on the road. That's what they would do.
I said to him, if they're called smart meters, there's a reason why they're called smart meters, because they're not dumb, are they? Right? And obviously they must be able to do things with them. And that's the thing. I mean, obviously they have to do things with them. So just use your imagination. If you can think it, they can do it. That was my point anyway. Sorry, I yield the floor.
Mm-hmm. If it's not important 5G and all this smart Wi-Fi and everything, why are they cutting all the trees down to enable the complete activation of it?
Yeah, of all the things, the trees are there to give us air and shelter and protect and hold the earth together. And they're cutting it down to get the signal through.
The wet foliage interferes.
Yeah, 2 seconds. My daughter's running a bath. Hang on.
I was just going to say that well, you can see them all over these 5G masts. They're now putting them on top of roofs. You know, like I can see, well, not far from here, and they don't have to be on a mast. They can be stuck to anything, you know, as long as it's got a little bit of a population below it, they'll be fine.
Skynet.
Anyway, back to this. Back to the other day. So you were explaining you've got a success.
Yeah, that was pretty much it. I've pretty much explained it in a nutshell, you know. So I compelled them to their capacity, whom and what they are, and the authority that they have. And he said he's been in the game for 20 years, and I'm talking rubbish. So I couldn't understand that. If I'm talking rubbish, why is he leaving today, not carried out and invoked the warrant that he has in his hand, if it's all true and proper and above board, as they call it? I'll be back next time, was his words, a bit like Arnold Schwarzenegger, I'll be back. Well, if you're going to be back to enforce the same warrant, why don't you enforce it today if it's true and proper?
You don't think he'll change the warrant and get another one?
You can't, because there's a notion of the court whereby one's granted and one's issued. And the courts are granting these things via rubber stamp, I do believe. You know, they're not issuing them because there's not a man on the landmass England with indemnification to himself that will allow another man to come and burgle your house for a civil issue. To cause you a harm or a loss. If he causes you a harm or a loss, and let alone an injury on their making an entry, you know, who's insured, who's bonded, who's indictable for your loss and your harm?
They don't care individually, though, do they? We're just a mass of ants to control.
Well, you have to enact individually and then come together unitedly, because you're not going to repel them in any way, shape or form thinking, well, everyone else pays, I may as well pay. We're just going to keep paying into the perpetual debt system. We're never ever going to get out of it anyway. It seems there's not even enough paper printed to ever pay back the debt. So we need to start enacting correctly and discharging and dispelling these things in the correct manner.
We recognise that the legal system is not a system to be entertained. It is not a system to be respected. It is not a system for the man to dance in at all. The legal system is lit and gal. It means the goal from Francais language, yeah, the French. So the goal of them, the very goal, the goal of them to what?
Yes.
What have they done to us? Legal is nasty. Legal is not something any of us want to ever get involved in. And when you do, if you don't know that you're dancing with the devil, then you are. And we go lawful, and what we say is private, self-governing, no consent, non-contracting, and we use our persons, our instrumentation to manage this and offset the liability. So what Andy's on about here is that, you know, we've got, you know, you don't give it. We in them situations, we don't ever agree to be the Mr. David or the Mr. Andy Sovereign Smith, because when you agree to be that, then you have agreed to take that title. If you take that title, then you take what comes with it. And we've worked out pretty much, not, you know, lock, stock, how to present and how to represent and how to not take the liability, how to maybe sign without liability. Like I got you a document out here I wanted to show you. At the end of the letter, when we send a letter, we put things like this on it. So it's got, there's no data there, but it's got signed, and without, there's a special way to end a document, and you can do it without liability, you know. So I've used this document recently, and yeah, you know, that's how we do it. So we don't want to take the liability on, but we want to stand there in law. And how do you present, you know, in law without the liability? With your persons, and they're given to you for remedy, aren't they, brother?
Can I just say something? Was that you that wrote in there, David? There's another David. He put smart meters equals you lose control over your use and your payments for your energy. Never accept one, no matter what's implied. Bogus legal argument is thrown at you. No contract equals no liability equals no consent. Did you hear that?
Yeah, I've got it there. That's not mine. That's not me, David. That's another David. I forget his name now, but I think he's a viewer on my channel as well. David's, I think now de jure or something it might be, but I don't know about these smart meters. I've concentrated on the area and the website building and stuff like that. I'll let somebody else answer about that, and it isn't me, no, that comment. But Juan Carlos is bang on with these comments, so sister.
No man has the right to give another man the power to rob, beat, murder his neighbour, not 100 men or 1,000,000 men.
Yes.
Thank you,
That's well
Juan.
said.
So you two are now going to be doing stuff together then. That's really good, because it's an awful lot on your own, isn't it, David?
Oh, it's radio rentals. Remember that shop? Well, that's what it's like in my life now. When you open yourself up to YouTube, collect a load of indigos, light workers, and crystal healers, and lots of rebellious types and intelligent types, and then you say, let's have a chat, and then you got 2,000 subscribers on the Indiglo and 3,500 pressing on the Facebook. And building the .com and going out to seminars and just going out and pushing yourself out there and, sacrificing the most amount you practically can to promote this message that we have. What's that, R2? I've got a message. Can you hear that? I hope not.
Yeah. So what made you want to get into this then, Andy?
I took over the allodial title of my property. In layman's terms, I took over the custody of my children, and led me looking into the law that way around. I've had the system impose itself upon me for various reasons. Strong arm, Big Barry, bailiffs, all these sorts of private third-party interlopers have been to my private abode to impose themselves. And so, I mean, I'm in persona, I'm quite a big lump, and I do block a bit of light, and I can be imposing myself.
Oh.
But it's not the way forward, and it's not the correct and proper and true way to enact. Although when these people are at your door bullying you, I am more than comfortable and at ease to return the bullying. However, I wish not to get arrested or anything like that, or incarcerated whilst they carry on and do their deadly deeds. So I've just learnt parts of the King James Bible and the dictionary in order to enable myself to defend myself and my realm at the time of need.
Which we all need to do, isn't it, really? But
absolutely, we need to do it for ourselves individually, and then we need to do it for one another collectively. Spread, have the wisdom to share the knowledge.
Yeah, well, we appreciate people like you and David who spend their time and life doing this for other people.
Thank you very much. I've spent many hours and many days and nights alone till 4, 5 a.m, 6 a.m, and spent many a time when it's my silver lining for me, actually, because I had my driving license took off me. I'm a HGV driver, ordinary, and I'm a professional driver for a living. And I had a couple of health issues, and they've took my license off me for a period. And it was in that period that I chose to start looking at the law and all the realms of law, whether it be from natural or statutes and acts, protocol, policy, procedure, the common law realm, all the law that may well be, land, air, and water. So, and just to enable myself to protect myself and my family in the correct manner.
Yeah, and now you talk differently, don't you?
Yeah, I do it without vexation and without frivolity. I just speak the facts of which I know them, and the facts of which I can quote from the book that I've read them. And if they can rebut the book that I've read them from, then good on them.
And what are you known as then?
Man Andy.
Man Andy.
It's like caveman almost, wasn't it? Man, me man. That's it. Simple. I am.
I'm nothing and nobody. I'm just nothing and nobody. Getting on with my quiet private life. However, if I can, I will endeavour to help those that are less fortunate than myself in the field of knowledge where they've been imposed upon by any said self-given authoritarian.
Well, yeah, like me, I don't even know the law. I suppose it's not something that we all do, is it? Is sit there reading the law, but
no,
we need to read it again. So that we need,
which jurisdiction of the law?
Pardon?
Which jurisdiction of the law?
Yeah, and when do we begin? When do we begin teaching? Does it start already? In kindergarten or in junior school or what?
Yeah, divine law. That's all I'll stick to. That which is natural and true and proper. I don't bother with acts and statutes and what lawyers and solicitors and barristers would all speak and all of that language, legalese and Japanese. I'm not of their society, so I'm not entitled, or I'm not.
It's never written in English, is it? It's written in some double Dutch language that.
Yeah. It's not for us. It's not for our society. It's of those society who have sworn an oath to it, and they are of allegiance to that society. It's as simple as that. And when you hear it's us and them, that's who it is. It's us and them. The system may have you believe that when we speak of us and them, that it's the classes within our society. So I don't believe there's any classes. It's just brothers and sisters. And I'm not even sure there is a society because I can't name it. I only know the BAR society, the law society.
They like to put us, when we were growing up, into lower class, middle class, and upper class.
Exactly, they like it. I don't class us as anything other than equal.
Thank you, because that's what we are. We're equal.
Exactly, we're equal in the eyes of the Creator and in the eyes of the law. And if you're there with clean hands in equity and you're in honour, then all good shall prevail.
Tommy's been very quiet there, but Tommy, the law's probably a little bit different for you in Canada, isn't it?
No, they're the same jurisdiction, they're common law jurisdiction, the same as us.
Same, yep. Canada's just the Queen's backyard, dear.
Queen's backyard.
What do you know about Common Hall and the papal bulls of 1302, Unum Sanctum?
Pope Boniface, I know them, yeah. We know about them, we've researched them. We know what they've claimed to have done, yeah. Pope Boniface you're on about, you broke up there, brother, but...
Yeah,
I'm just quite difficult to... It's canon and ecclesiastical law, that is.
The canons.
Yeah, well, the papal bull is actually written on sacrificed baby skin. They're druid witches. That actually,
yeah, we've heard.
You know, I mean...
What about pro, say, Q-tor? Explain that one to me. Think about the phonics and the language. Pro, say, Q-tor. It's something to do with skin. Something to do with cut from the skin. And that's a prosecutor. If you say it fast. I'm just a prosecutor, me. I'm a pro se Q-tor. I cut from the skin. And I go for a plea bargain. We know, brother, we know. Well said, yeah. We don't know it all, but ecclesiasticals. And then you've got the Vedics. Have you looked at them? And if you looked at the Krishna-like, that's the oldest one we found. And that one looks like the one that we might want to go for. Also promotes a flat earth sister as well. What? Flat earth? Heritage from the Krishna. Don't tell everybody, though. It's a secret. You know, no one's allowed to know that.
That's right.
Yeah. We were talking the other day. Where was it? Which day was it? It was only a few days ago. I can't remember which day it was, about the fact that they've changed our language. And basically, we used to have a lot more words, and they've taken a lot of the words out. That's what David was saying.
I've narrowed my own language down anyway. I'll try and use as many words as possible. One word, one meaning, one sentence, one meaning. And so that will remove the common law assumptions and presumptions that they put upon you.
Yes.
So we are in a private Google Hangouts. It's broadcast publicly, but we all agree we're not speaking anything other than Anglo. We're speaking an Anglo text, and we don't mean anything other than what the words we understand them to mean. There's no trickery, there's no deception, there's no contract, there's no getting over each other. It's just that's how we do. But out there is not our society. That's the general public. You see, and you all get into major trouble, major problems if you don't, and you got to know what you're doing and where you are.
That's agreement by torts and tacits. That isn't agreement eye to eye, man to man.
Yeah.
Very deep, serious subjects, isn't it?
It's real life, and it's outside, and it's happening to our brothers and sisters. Yeah, they're lying about the science, the history, everything. It's all a deception. What we're doing is our part by breaking out the deception of the law, the language, the assumptions, the presumptions, and then getting your power back, letting you know you can use your 2 special stamps, Andy, can't you, and set your bills off.
David and Andy, there's a question in the chat room. This person's called We Have Questions. Can anyone give an example when this Freemason on the land actually works in court, as I have yet to see it work?
Oh, Andy.
How it works. So,
I haven't got a clue. I don't have a clue how that would work.
Freemasons. Well, is he having a laugh there by saying Freemason? Because we've presented in the
Free
court.
man. Sorry, it's my
Free
fault.
man.
Free man of the land. Whoops, I'm sorry, it's me.
We are born to that user. We are born free, and you are free, and you are free born, and you are born unto this earth, and you are left plain. Sorry, and you have inheritance to that. As soon as you are born, and then your names and things are birthed, and when you are birthed and registered, your freedom is given away, not taken, and not tricked. So then you become a ward of the state. Now you're a ward of the state. Yeah, you got 7 years to get back that, apparently, CQV, and search quasi trust. So we know about the names and the family name and the creditor and the debtor and the A for V and the endorsement. So when you present in court, you have got to attend, and then you've got to appear and attend and present. So how you appear, attend and present is entirely up to you. But if you all rise, when they say all rise, that's the dead rising. If you get up to that, you've just consented and given away all your sovereign power. Don't ever say free man or sovereign citizen. We're not free men, not sovereign citizen. We are private men, and we're women, and that's how we are. I've won with I've gone to an Oxford court traffic officer, as I said the other week, and we've got the video evidence to that user. If he's that bothered, he can come and meet us privately, and I'll show him the video of the whole hour and 45. And then at the end, the magistrates come back in after taking 35 minutes to deliberate. They went in at 5 to 5 and they close at 5. So they come out at 25 past 5. They took expert legal advice, and this came and sat back down and said, that claim that laddo was made over there, traffic officer, no camera, no witness, just his own statement. And to that question, the one that questions or got questions, he submitted an affidavit statement of truth. So we did the same. We didn't fill in a statutory deck. We didn't agree to be that name. We didn't present a date of birth. We didn't present a surname. And we went in there with a special appearance, with the capacity and the status. The status was private, and the capacity was agent representative. So authorized agent and representative of that driver, Mr. John Doe, all caps. And you'll be surprised how different it gets. So that's how you go down and dance in the demon area and get out of there. It's a deadly game, but you make one wrong move and it's all over.
One word.
Go on, Andy.
One
Go on,
word.
brother.
So that means if you go to court, you don't stand up then when they say all rise.
Oh, Lord, there's loads of tricks. Yeah, you don't stand up because that's the dead rising. You know what I mean? You stand up afterwards. They'll say contempt. You didn't rise, contempt. So what you say is, okay, I will rise to be polite, but I do not waiver any. I reserve all my rights, and I waiver all benefits and things like that. You reserve all your rights, and you waiver all benefits and privileges, and then you stand there. You keep your sovereignty, because that stand alone in a court, if you don't know, means submit to the judge. The dead shall rise. He will preside over them. You're all dead. He's going to preside, but that's just a little trick.
That's why they all wear black like undertakers. And
Black's
and
law.
wigs they wear and whatnot. It's lamb's wool. They are there. They're sheep in wolf's clothing.
Lamb's wool. Black's law, Black's dictionary, black arts, black magic, black clothes, black police officer, black eye if you don't listen.
Wolf in sheep's clothing. It's
not by chance, is it? It's dark arts. It's dark. It involves the Vatican.
Can I ask you guys? Can I ask you, gentlemen, a question? On your website, do you have like a kind of a hot lists, let's call it, for topics that you can, so people can just like look and then, oh, this is the information that I'm looking for, just like what you've been telling us this evening,
Well, I'm building the website with the technician, and we're doing it's a resource center, so it's a learning digital university. So we're going to offer courses at Astral. So what we're going to do is offer a 3-layer course scenario, so you can come onto the website as a non-beneficiary, a stranger to our family. You can make an account and it will last 24 hours, and it will last for 24 hours you make it for free. And there's courses that we're going to present are going to be there's 3 layers, like I say, and they are foundation, merit, special. Special is the top one, merit is the middle, and foundation is the first. And the foundation is a 1-day course, maybe a couple of hours, and you'll get to learn a lot of stuff that you need to know to keep your ass out of public liability and always paying out. You know what I mean? We'll teach you that for free, but we won't write it down. It'll be a course instead. So me and Andy want you lot all at the same speed as us, so we can all get together then, protect, once we're protected and strong, and then sort this mess out. Hey?
Yeah. Can I just say that Flat Earth Dude joined us. Hi there, darling.
Hey, darling.
Hi,
Hey,
Flat Earth
everybody.
Dude.
How you guys
Good.
doing?
Oh.
Good afternoon to you. It's
Astral.
afternoon for you now, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah.
Let me just
Out
turn
running
him up.
around.
He's not very
You know me.
loud.
I'll yield for a minute, but you guys are on some interesting stuff. One thing I would say on the language thing, isn't all capitals, isn't that language called derelict? Or what, is there a name for that?
Ancient
language?
Latin. It's ancient
dogma.
Latin.
It's ancient Latin, uppercase text, dogma Latin.
Dogma with the dogma
That's
with the
Dogma
dashes.
Latin.
You have it with the dashes as
That's
well.
what
Don't forget.
happens, that they've taken your second family name and they've uppercased it into text, dogma Latin, and they've copyrighted it.
Right. That's
And
fascinating, man.
And they call it a person, and they want you to come and they want you to enact that person when they call it for fines or forfeiture. That person, that corporate entity, liable person, comes with all the liabilities and duties of any other corporate public employee, and you've got to separate ourselves from that jurisdiction back to that of the private man. It's sometimes common law, but it's mostly trust and equity. Common law is out in the public for when you've done a right and a wrong, but if you wish to act as man, it's got to be done in equity and privacy.
So, could you just explain like a little bit about your sites again for anybody in the chat room who doesn't know, by the way, you guys? So, what's the channel called? What's the Facebook? What's the whole thing? Just so that people can find you.
Okay, Dave, you can promote that, mate, because I'll get tongue-tied with all your names you call it.
Let's see from the top one more time. I used to be an MC and a DJ. That's why I like my phonics and things. But we have a Facebook group family now. It was a group, but it's turned into a family. We realised who we was, and that would be called Sovereign Paralegals, and that has got a Latin title and some numbers, which is the trust name for Facebook. So when you formulate a trust, you can do that verbally and express it. So I did that via my YouTube videos, and then I made the Facebook group. And Sovereign Paralegals Est, which is establish, Nunc Pro Tunc, which is Latin for now, for then, DGSS 1111 2017. Get in. So Sovereign Paralegals, Est Nuncto Puncto. See, that's it, the Latin. Nunc Pro Tunc. DGSS 1111 2015 is the title of the trust itself. The group on Facebook is called Sovereign Paralegals. When I made it cyber solicitors, I realised solicitors are prostitutes and you don't want to affiliate with those types of charlatans, we'll call them. So I changed it to Sovereign Paralegals, and that's what you'll find on Facebook. But it's actually, we're not secret, we're private. You can search for us and find us, but you must request and ask, answer the questions and ask to be let in, because we support quality over quantity. We're not looking for millions and millions of guys to come out and formulate a battle. We're just wanting to slowly collect a refined amount of articulate, intelligent, sensitive, we'll call them normal, but what is normal, hey? And that's where we are. Then Indiglow on YouTube is INDIGLOW. You'll find out with my name on the chat, or if you're watching the video, you'll search Indiglow and you'll see a fist with Be Your Own Hero on it, which is what I would like you all to do. And I feel I have done that for myself. I've been my own hero by trying to restore the allodial title to my property, children, offspring, fruit of the loins, when the state told me I couldn't see them because of the little thing called the 1998 Data Protection Act. And I went, what? And then we took it from there, basically. Andy did it with his title for his children, so we had something in common. That might be where we initially sparked off in the early days on YouTube. So Facebook and YouTube. Then if you want to type in, with your fingerooners, www.splspro.com. You will find sovereign paralegals. That's SPLS in the address. So you appreciate it's a large title to put in a .com. So SPLS and pro is sovereignparalegalspro.com. I made that up in 5 minutes, to be fair, and I thought we'll try this website, and we're building up now universal, I don't know, remedy, a non-sectarian universal remedy for any of our brothers and sisters that may have that thing in their possession that they thought was them, called a birth certificate. And on that birth certificate, you know, you've got issues with that, of which we would be delighted to explain and teach you about, and you know, bring you into the light. We would like to enlighten you.
Creed, colour, religion, sexuality, gender. We don't care what you are, who you or anything like that. We're all as equal as one another, and it's as simple as that. And we can't emphasise that message enough. Thank you, Don. It's quite bizarre how they've put that on there when you look into that.
Yeah, so you can use the Facebook Trust for free. You don't need to pay any of your sweat equity to that, and you can reside on that fed book, nasty, infiltrated, monitored, sick, twisted. And I use it to an advantage, but I use it under duress. I use it reluctantly, but it serves me as a marketing purpose and a recruitment centre and certain things like that for souls that are being tortured. So I'll go and burn it. I'll put myself at risk and go in there and sacrifice, you know, giving my data and being monitored and watched and GCHQ and NSA and all that, and go in there and start and just, you know, kind of put battle armor on and go and wade in, and then I'll try and salvage them like the Crown does for you lot and us lot, and it has done, and we'll salvage them and say, you ever thought about coming to the private, lad, Mrs. Brother, sister? And they'll be like, why, what do you mean? And be like, well, when you're in the public, you're in public liability, this is what happens. And if you get to the private, well, that doesn't happen, and you can pretty much choose, and you can actually have a choice, whereas now you have no choice and you are at the mercy of, and these are the way it's going to be. And there's a gang out there, and it's bigger than your gang, it's bigger, it's got more resources, and it doesn't listen, it has no emotion, and it makes the rules, but it doesn't obey the rules. Does that sound fair to you? No, it doesn't. Government, no emotion. Soulless entities. Big Barry, no emotion. Soulless entity. State tasers, stun guns, you know, Euro officers, soulless entities, you know, just doing a job. Nazis, just doing the job, you know, what, just doing our jobs, you know. Well, we're just doing our job now, and we're doing our job. We're on sacred contract, sisters and brothers. This is it. I've been to see a beneficiary today and sat for 3 hours with no payment, no ask for money, no like financial agreement. It was a private trust agreement from a YouTube viewer called Life Trying Again, and she's seen me chatting and babbling and having, you know, these kind of things, but me just doing my video, going live, not really. You taught me how to do Hangouts, sister. So she's watched my videos and said, we need help. There's a social services, you know, officer and certain other guys coming down to interview me for seeing about safeguarding me. And I went, what? The government are going to come out and see about safeguarding you. Do you know what you're doing there? No. Do you know about your private person? No. Do you know about signing without liability? No, because you need help then. You do not want to deal with them. If you're disabled, you're having an interview and they're going to make you sign and they're going to pretend to help you, you're going to sign your life away. So I've driven down to help her and be with her today and do some guardianship. And yeah, I've got some emails to send before I get to bed. And it was, yeah, this is the danger we're at. It's horrible, you know, the perilous danger. You can sign your life away, literally. Are you?
What, you mean with adult social care? You're talking
about
that,
oh, yeah, yeah. They were coming out to see her, like, to help her out, you know, to help them out, as they do. They come out to help you always. They like spending the money, they care about you. Just said they don't have a soul and they don't care. So why are they going to come out to help you? They're not, are they? They don't help you. We see it as help, but it isn't actually help. The saviour is often something else. It's not the saviour you think it is. You know, come and sign on for money. When you sign on and get benefits, what do? You make a contract. If you don't go down at that time on that day, they tell you off. You don't eat. You know, you don't eat this week. Why? Because you're late. What do you mean I'm late? Well, you've been late 3 times, yeah, and well, now you can't eat. Why? Because we're not going to pay you. Why? Because there are rules. Yeah, but I've paid my tax. I've been a good lad. I've put all that money in there. When you asked me to pay tax, you didn't say, Well, you can pay tax, Dave, but do you know if you ever come to need it, well, there's going to be terms and conditions, and they're going to be so bad, we'll never end up really paying you out because there are terms and conditions. So, you know, tax is voluntary, guys, and all this stuff that we pay, and we can enter into a sovereign private trust, and we can control our, you know, money and sweat equity and finances and demands and question Big Barry and put the crown on its arse, so to speak, by entering the fall of Babylon. That's exactly what we're doing. Enter the words of Brother Santos. The fall of Babylon for the Anglo brothers and sisters is actually here. And you're like, these two guys that are on this channel are ushering it in at a great speed. We're going to remove the crown's controlling infrastructure with the legal bull system, and we'll put back your sovereign, righteous, unalienable rights, and we'll rebut everything the system and the papal bulls and the prosecutors and everybody else, including the Freemasons out there that aren't really helping things in the private clubs littered around. And we'll have our own equivalent of the G8 summit, and it'll be called the Sovereign Private Anglo Warriors Truth Crystal Rainbow Summit. And then we'll get some ass kicking done. See me in 3 years.
What's it going to be called again, Andy?
I yield. There you go. Do you like that, Astral?
Dave,
Finished.
sorry. Yeah, I love that. Yeah, yeah, that was awesome, man.
Ambry. Brilliant.
Yeah, what to say after that then? Go, David, go.
That's you lot. We need you. Me and Andy need you lot to start, you know, getting on this as well and help us out. Help us to help you. That's all we want. And you are by letting us on and take over your channel and babble like this.
No, it's brilliant. It's brilliant. It's brilliant having you on, right? Brilliant, honestly. There's something I heard today, whether it's true or not, it's definitely verifiable. And I've not looked yet to see if it was. Harry's got married on the same day that Hitler got married.
Yeah. It's a shame none of their fathers come either, but hey ho.
That's numbers. I like my numbers, Astral.
I'm saying that Charles isn't Harry's dad then.
No, who's to say and who's to know? Hey, like you say, can it be verified? It's all speculation. He said, she said, isn't it? I just thought, you know, I'll throw it in there with it.
Hitler's birth? I don't know about Hitler's dates. I don't know anything about Hitler really, other than the public stuff. But where did you get that from, Astral? Who's fed you that? Where did that come from?
Oh, I just saw it online somewhere today that someone had just posted that the same wedding day that Hitler had, same day as
relevant to Merkel and the Third and Fourth Reich, and they're all married in and they're all of the one. So
I think we're beginning to learn a lot.
I wouldn't be unsurprised by it, you know.
No, exactly. I think we're beginning to learn a lot more and how small actually the world is, really, you know, with like these people that are connected and
it's
in relation with each other.
33rd degree Mason himself, you know, so who's to know? Who will ever know? We can only do what enact in our own moment today, the now. We can look upon the past and reflect upon it and gain our own narrative from it, but we can't predict the future and we can't have the past. We've not got tomorrow or yesterday. We can only do what's right and proper today and now. So although the past is relevant and prevalent in our lives, but, you know, a lot of it is hearsay, she said, speculation. You can lose a lot of your time and a lot of your life going back and looking back through all the facts and figures that have only been manipulated by the hand of man anyway. So, and that's just my own opinion on it all, you know. So I just try and do for the now and not trud too much in the past and certainly not look to the future.
Yeah, just dealing with the now, you mean?
Yeah, we can manifest our own future, but we can't predict it, can we? Because something always comes a cropper, doesn't it, to knock you back down again or what have you. So that's a part of your own yin and yang as well. It's part of not aiming too high so you don't fall too low with your moods and all that thing, you know. So you can almost expect the unexpected and that type of thing. It's difficult for me to explain that side of it, but that's my take on it.
Yeah, well, how long has it taken you to learn all this then?
About 10 minutes. I don't know anything. I just know which is true, right, and proper to my own belief in my heart. I only ever speak from my heart. I carry my heart on my sleeve. Sometimes to my detriment, it's got me into trouble. Sometimes it's been cut and broken and slashed and torn as well. But If it's not right or true or proper, I don't get involved. I don't advocate or invoke anything else other than true righteousness, and that is proper. So it's all you can do to endeavour to have a peaceful, blissful inner sanctum self. So if you can invoke that and advocate it to others, which I doubt we could ever do. It's farcical lifestyle for me. I'd just press that on there, Dawn. We're rowing up against the tide, aren't we? We're uphill against the tide with the amount of people that are willing to listen. There is, like you say, if you wish to talk of the classes, there is if there is an upper and a middle class that can afford to live life comfortably, they don't need to know the rules. The more poorer section of society that do need to know the rules, that are having themselves imposed upon, are either too drunk or too drugged or too much into any other thing, football and whatever else, to realise that they're even within a system to know. So it's
Yeah,
A lot of people
can I
don't
just say,
care, do they?
the Liverpool fans that have just sold have just like put all the holidays in and had 3 months out in Bali and bloody wherever they've gone now to get to there's a Liverpool match in Europe. See, I'm not a football fan, but they're playing somewhere like Kiev or something, I don't know. And they've all, like, it was on the radio today saying, oh, look at all these devoted fans that have been in they've been en route for like a month or something. We're trying to sort this out and having a massive holiday, and they've like cashed in everything they've got to sell just to go and watch the football team in Europe, and they've used all their holidays up. I'm like, well, it's a shame you wouldn't do that to save, come and spend a few hours at a seminar and learn what the hell's going off in your country and who you are, and what your rights are. This is the passion.
While we have children in deprivation and people sleeping on the streets, we have this going on. It's cognitive dissonance. It's their own belief system. And people have been indoctrinated in such a way that the system has done such a job that these people will fight to the death for their own belief in which they've been indoctrinated with.
Yeah, it's kind of illegal to help people nowadays, isn't it?
Well, it depends who you claim to be when you're helping. If you're doing it in your private own capacity, then yeah, who, as that comment said, no man has the right to tell any man what to do. And if you believe you might be offending somebody, well, I'm sorry if I offended you. I'm sorry that I cause offense. If you'd like to remove yourself from where I am, perhaps I won't offend you anymore. But I don't believe an offense is a crime, is it? So if you offend an act, a charter or a bill or a code or a bit of something, well, you better say, is that code, charter, act, bill relevant to me? Is it? And if they trick you into thinking it is, then you need to know that it isn't always relevant. If you're at work and you're contracted into your servitude and you haven't put your goggles on and you're operating a lathe machine and something goes in your eye and you put a claim in, and later down the line in the investigation for the payout and the penalty and the remedy and all that, they say, so how did it get through your safety goggles, Dave? I'll be like, well, I weren't wearing them. What do you mean you weren't wearing your safety goggles? It's part of the Health and Safety Act at work, 1970, rah, rah, rah. Yeah, I know, yeah, but I forgot to put them on. Well, I'm sorry then, that means that the liability and the insurance is not the, it's not going to indemnify you because you've breached a public act of which you need to follow at work, see? But when you're not at work, then public acts are only for the judges, solicitors, police, and the government agents of the law society and their society. And we think they belong to us, but they don't. It doesn't belong to us. And that's where we come in and say, so who are you and what are your rights? Lesson 1 for free on splspro.com. Coming very soon, I promise you. We're just so busy. Like today, I've been out helping somebody for free. So just bear with us. I know they're all impatient and there's 20 guys waiting for lessons so far on the .com, but we will get there and you will have it. Trust us, you will. That's why we're here now, just to keep it going.
Yeah.
Do you get me?
Yeah, acts, statutes, legislation, protocol. It's their rules. It's their commercial rules of business. And what they're doing is imposing their rules upon the person, because your person is a corporation. It's a commercial entity. So that's where you have to separate yourself from that commercial entity and bring it back to the correct jurisdiction in law. That's what's going on. They've man-created government to look after commerce. And what they've done in 1666 with the Sestu KV is bonded man to the banks and made us a commercial corporate entity. And they've imposed them rules upon the person to tax that commerce as well, that commercial entity. And that's why now we're at the state of play that we're at.
And can I just say that that's because they got rid of, look at the Gold Insolvency Act and look at the removal of the silver and the backing of the sterling. And then the Rothschilds went, so you've paid all of the debts off with all of the gold and you want some more money, do you, Elizabeth? Well, what are you going to pledge with? And she went, oh, well, I don't know, Nathan. What can I pledge with? I don't really know. And the Vatican went, well, we can act as a little bit of a, you know, creditor, if you like, and you, Mom, can set up a little bit of an administration office, like, and between us, we can get the people to think that they're the debtor. What we'll do is we'll pass on the debts, but really we'll pay them. And if they pay them, we've paid them, you keep the change. And if they don't know to ask for the change, then fool them. And she went, oh, that's a marvellous idea. So, Nathan, did you hear that? And just like on Game of Thrones, where the Lannister, I don't even watch that shit, pardon me, but where the Lannisters meet with the such and suches and around the table with the army and the monarchy and the banks and they're there. That's what that is. And you're watching it for entertainment, guys. And you know what? They're having a laugh with you. They're having a right old laugh with you. You know, and it's like, that's how the people became the sweat equity. So we are the surety and the debt. Richard Ansar, you are a legend and I love you to bits. Because without that man, we would be 10 years in the past still.
You can't relieve the debt without the debt, can you?
You know, and we look at the public and the private and we look at the accepted for value, we look at the endorsement, we look at the bonds, we look at the Vatican, we look at the agreements and the trusts, yeah, and we look what a trust is, and we've explained that to you before, sister, not to belittle you, but trusts are simple, they really are, and that's what we're all in, and we're in a trust from God, the Vatican, the monarchy, and we don't know, you know, how it's happened, but you don't know, but now we can explain how it has, and that in a nutshell is how it's happened, and it's called the quasi-trust. Search Justinian Deception, YouTube, Romley Stewart, and also what else could I throw in there for you? Christian Walters, just for a little bit of good luck. Go and look at some WordPress on Christian Walters as well, and that's enough. Enjoy.
Oh yeah, but it's good to explain it on each hangout, just in case anybody watching doesn't know who you are or what you're doing.
No, they can rewind. No, as Andy said, 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning, falling asleep at a keyboard. If you earn it and you work for it, you will remember it. If you just sit and listen to it, be told, you'll forget it by the time you wake up. You know.
But it's nice to have repetition, though, Indy. Definitely.
I have no keyboard, incidentally. I don't have a computer. I've never had a PC or a laptop or anything of any kind. I don't have any sort of. I only have a phone, so it's quite.
You know, this brother here drives a skip wagon and he has chains slapping on the back of it all day long. He doesn't do tech. He's a hands-on man. He said to me when he goes, look, I don't know what I can do, Dave. He says, but I've seen your videos and I do want to help, and I think we can spread the message somehow. This was like 2 years ago, was it? 2 and a bit years ago. Yeah. And he says, just let me know. And here we are today, like some time later, and yeah, we've got a few seminars under our belts, and you know, the website courses.
Yeah, that's right.
Dawn's made an appearance.
Yeah, I've done quite a few private discharges and dispelled quite a few agents and got rid of quite a few people who were imposing themselves upon my friends and family through my knowledge. So it's a powerful thing to know. It's not to be done with vexation or frivolity. It's not there to make you a millionaire. You're not going to get millions of pounds out your bond and go and buy Ferraris and live a frivolous lifestyle. It's not that way inclined. It's not about money at all. It's about enacting in the correct, true, proper manner, in the correct jurisdiction of life, whether you be in the public or whether you be in the private. It's enacting in the correct way and recognising and seeing which relationship you're in at any given time, and if you are in a quasi-trust relationship, then you need to express and put the relationship true and correct within any trust that you're in. So that's as much as I can say on that. We're gonna
pick up the microphone where dear late great brother John Harris left off, yeah, because Andy and I have had some comparisons to some of his talks and the topics we talk about and the content. We're not trying to be like anybody. We're just being our own heroes, and for our own children, offspring, property, fruit of the loins, the future, being born into debt, into this lie. When you realize the lie, then you can see the truth. So we'll tell you the truth, so for you to see the lie. And what we're going to do next is offer the Facebook domain, the YouTube channel, and we'll probably make an SPL's Pro channel, link you guys up accordingly in that. And then what we're going to start doing is offering either through private YouTube Hangouts or through Skype or any other medium that comes along down the line. We'll offer consultations, and if it's just one of us, it'll be like a £10 donation per hour for this kind of advice that is private, confidential, and to do with anything you can bring and throw at us. Yeah, you can have an hour of our time, or together, if you want the double trouble, then it'll be like the minimum donation, or the donation we'd like to set would be £20 for two of us per hour. You think about a solicitor's charge before you cut me down and you chop me down with the fiscal and the finance and everything. We know that there is no money. We know there's only credits. We know that the only thing of value is our time, our finite time, and what we do with it. So we know we're in the court. We're in the court all the time, and we're being judged all the time. And we've picked up a sacred contract that late brother John Harris left lying around. We found it, and we've taken it, haven't we, brother? And we're running with it. So there's a fantastic amount of information about to be let out in controlled bursts from the .com, because we can't do it on YouTube because it's a public domain now. Google operative military company, quantum technology, they're already predicted what we've done. You look at the quantum tech and where it's at now. So Facebook, again, Zuckerberg, Fedbook, can't do stuff on there in the private as the set law, and you guys being beneficiaries because it's public. The only option we can see is to move your asses as quick as you can for £12 donation a year. That's what we're asking. So that's not massive. That's 3 pints of beer in Yorkshire, 3 pints of stout, yeah, something like that. And you can have this, and you can go private, and you can look at the courses. You feel free to stay where you are. If you feel safe and you feel confident and you know everything and you're all right, and you can stay where you are. But if you do get in the brown smelly stuff, we will still help anybody and everybody that may come down the line. And there are free avenues that you can still use, but there are private funded avenues that you might want to consider picking up. And that's all I'll say, because yeah, stuff's about to get very real very fast, isn't it? Yeah. And it's all there for you to learn. We haven't gone to any secret cove or island or anything like on Lost and had to go and find some secret, crazy place. We just stayed up and chatted and found others, and like you, and went out there and did it, and then started picking up the telephone and using it. And we've made a few mistakes, don't get me wrong. So look at some of my past videos; they're quite embarrassing, but it's a journey, and we don't know it all.
It's an honest attempt. And if you're making an honest attempt, then hey, we're bound to get tripped over now and again, but at least one is trying, and God loves a trier.
And if you think about it, what we got taught at school and how we got the moral code and ethics and all the morality that you know about, all of you that are watching this or that will watch it, your lives aren't right. You're probably not happy. You can't see your true purpose. You don't know who you are. You don't know what your rights are. So to be fair, you do need somebody like Andy and I, the whole country, if not the plane of existence, the realm on a spiritual level needs a big shaking up and going, oi, what? What? We need the big man to come out of the cloud and go, then you lot, have you seen what's happening? Because that's what we're effectively doing now. Yeah.
And thank you. To explain to people in the chat room, I mean, not that you want every single person's problem, but you get legal problems, they can come to you and you can help them.
Or the Facebook, or watch a video, find us live, subscribe to the channel, or get on the domain and then become an active private, self-governing sovereign, whatever you want to call yourself, really. But the sovereignty, look into that, and then you have access to others. And we're going to do like Thrive and Survive, community-based forums. It's global. We can have up to something like 1 million members, 2 million. There's no limit on membership. It's the internet. So all that we need is for guys for the man's got to make his choice. It's time. Man's not hot, man's been bonded, basically. That's what Skepta and that Wiley don't tell you, and all these others. Yeah, it's terrible. It's not even a joke, to be fair.
No, we are the collateral propping up the banks for the government. They keep borrowing off the banks with interest, and they're quite permitted and licensed to print their own money today. We could have a separate instrumentation system whereby there is no interests, but such is the system at the moment. That's how it's set up. and there's never enough printed to pay it all back. So that's why we have to endeavour to do different measures, isn't it? In the proper commercial capacity, like
money,
if,
bonds.
If I opened the Bank of Andy today with these 2 lighters, and I lent them both to you, Dave, and these are the only 2 lighters of Andy's in circulation at the moment, but I want 3 back. So what you take these 2 lighters away with you, and next Friday when you come to give me my 3 back, you think, hey, where's the 3rd then? What are you going to have to do?
Yeah.
Oh, you're going to have to borrow some more lighters off me, lad. So this is how it goes on, and this is how the perpetual debt system works.
Unless we printed the money, unless we could print the money, then if we was in control, we'd be all right, wouldn't we?
So I'm never going to quite make enough of these lighters to pay back. So you're always going to owe me. You're always going to be in my little holy, furry, scary pocket. And that's what's happening with persons at the moment, and citizens and occupiers and all these titles within the UK, if that's where you reside.
Yeah.
You understand that? That's the federal bank, what he's just explained. That's the printing notes of the Rothschild and Windsor Bank of the the square mile of the centre of London, which is actually not part of the United Kingdom or the landmass. England, it's a square mile jurisdiction of its own postcode and police. Look into that, Anglo brothers and sisters. Why have we got a section of the landmass, England, the United Kingdom, under its own square mile jurisdiction? A bit like the Vatican is, and a bit like Washington is. Oh, and they've all got obelisks there. Now you're seeing the satanic, demonic, civil, Roman, connection, and the Vatican rule. And how many crowns do we have? Ask yourself that. That was an interesting find. There's more than one crown. Definitely. One lives in London. One's on the Queen's head.
If you're
there's more than
if you're dealing with any type of policy enforcer and they're outside that square mile of Westminster, then they're out of the jurisdiction to deal with you. Deal with them in the correct capacity.
See,
but a lot of people don't know that.
Yeah. They've sworn their oath to it. That's what it's for. They've sworn their oath to the UK.
Yeah, there's a lot of people that have sworn their oaths to these things and don't realise what they're swearing to or what game they're in.
Exactly. That's why it doesn't matter if they're self-given authoritarians or self-appointed, or if they've been appointed by others, or whomever they are, then maybe they're belligerently enacting their role today. So I do recognise and point out that the duties and capacities and liabilities that they should truly be beholding, and as well as the ones that they are imposing upon, say for instance myself. So I don't show any hatred or vexation for what they're doing, but I do find it a duty to point out to them what they are doing incorrectly, why, and that they are basically doing me a wrong. And if you do a man wrong within any given society, then surely you are duty bound to put it right, whether that be there and then in the first instance or in front of the judge. We only have right and wrong. That's what we go to court for: right and wrong, fact and fiction.
Do you do the bit like David's talked to us about, the fact that like you can actually question what they're judging, and then they're not actually judges usually of the courts they're in?
Absolutely,
they're the wrong.
You can question them in their capacity and their jurisdiction, and if you listen carefully, you will know the jurisdiction they are invoking with their language. It's persons and titles and the things that they do, and they'll try and compel you to do things, sit down, stand up, all these types of things, and the slightest thing like that will gain jurisdiction upon you.
Have you ever had to say that yourself? Recite what law you're in. All right, you're not law of this court. Sort of thing. Have you ever done that? Yes.
I've done it to many authority that have imposed themselves upon me, and the basic layman term to do it is ask them whom they are oathed to, because they are oathed to the same man that I am here in the reflection of, and I'm in his eyes equal to him. So if they are above me, they are to write it down on a piece of paper, and I'll put claim against it. Because if I'm there in that capacity, then I'm there with clean hands, and I'm there in honour. Because that's how I live my life.
And what do they say to you then? When you say
Well,
that, like,
that's private, isn't it?
oh, I just meant what, I don't mean what they say about your case, but I mean, when you actually give them that bit of law, what do they say to you when you say basically you've got no you have no power over me?
Well, that's right. If you don't know your rights, you haven't got any rights. You know, we are the power and we are the authority. We are the law. We create the law and we set the law. Case law is set by man. It's law is set by precedent that's gone in the past. It's his story. They look back to his story and see what precedents they have set from them wrongs. And it is man that sets the law. That's how we get case law. And if you've done wrong, then you're to put it right. It's as simple as that. If you've done a criminal act or with a criminal action, should I say, then you're to put it right. It's as simple as that. Whether you're a man in the private or you're a man working for an authority, whatever your given capacity you're at any given time, we all have a duty and a responsibility and a liability over our fellow brethren. You know, if you see an old lady trip over in the street in the town, we wouldn't step over her. We would endeavour to help and make sure that she's okay and call for assistance. That's our duties and liabilities and responsibilities to fellow man. And it's this that's been lost by way of the indoctrination and the lamestream media, you know, to get better than the neighbour, you know, thrive and do better and squash the next man. But that's another story, ain't it? Everyone's trying to rise above one another. No one's satisfied anymore with being equal to one another. Everyone wants to be better, faster, harder, bigger, better, you know, whatever the case may be.
There was a question, it's just gone out of the chat room now. My computer's being a bit slow, but it's about VEP or something, about the Vatican. I can't see it now.
So I'm in the chat room. I'm all over it. I'm loving this. It's going to be a heavyweight hangout, this one. Where is it? Let's have a look.
It's just up a little bit. Sorry, they asked for you. So.
Oh, here it is. Lost in the comments.
Can you ask about EVP? Oh,
EDP,
it's just moved again.
Wait,
do you mean EDP? Ecclesiastical deed poll?
Yeah, I've just lost it again. I don't know where it's gone, but yeah, it was about the Vatican.
I'm trying to find it.
The Vatican is a religion. It's a religion that I'm not of. And,
Eve, I've got it. Simon, brother Simon, Karen, ask David about EVP to Vatican, please. That's right. I can see Anna can interact with the. It's EDP. What's it? Can you confirm you meant? I've lost it again. Can you confirm you meant EVP? Echo Victor Papa is saying here, Andy, but I'm thinking he means Echo Delta Papa. Yeah, he's heard it. So this is the bits that. So it's good that he's asking, but you might have got it right. Yeah, it will say EDP. You can use DuckDuckGo for one to double check what we're going to say. But an ecclesiastical deed poll is something. It's a template. You might want to consider putting it to the one of the certificates that you might have in your collection. We won't say too much, but you might be able to have. Let's say you've got a certificate here. And that's the public side of the certificate with all the stamps and everything there and the information, and it's all authorised, and it's an original certificate. On the back, it's blank. You can start to think about putting this might be the private side or the side, you know, creditor side, debtor side, or debtor side, creditor side. And there's all kinds of weird things that you're about to learn about that these guys, not us, that these guys use. So because we're born unto the lie, we didn't know about these tricks, and until we met our brother Richard Ansell. I'm not plugging him, but I've got to promote him because I haven't done it enough, and I've just watched some of his stuff back, and I didn't mention that Richard Ansell is the man that brought this, and his teachings, and others do trust and equity. We just happened to stumble across him, and he teaches you about how to put stuff on the back and an angle in certain colour pen with references to certain things about your legal person that only you with the, you know, prints can do and sign and act and maybe put a stamp on it to give it, oh, it's a bizarre. But when you learn what these snakes do when they've got your bond open in the court, in the de facto circa lower court systems that we know of with the county, the district, the magistrate, there is no indictable warrants kicking about that we know of other than what come from the High Court. Fact number one. Number two, when they come out purporting to want to seize and take control, let me calm. Let me do it calmly for once. When they purport to come out and try to seize and take control of your goods and have the authoritative paperwork and jurisdiction and everything, then they don't always seem to have that. And what they do have, is tricks and ways of this legal system of how it works. And we learnt it, and we learned the lawful
I
system.
tell you, I was a bit of a coward a couple of weeks ago.
It's like,
I changed over what I was watching on the television, which station from Sky to Virgin. And what it was is the guy in the shop said, yeah, we'll sort it all out. But they didn't. Like when your telephone goes over, they usually tell the telephone company. Well, they didn't. And I got this bill. But the first letter they wrote to me, basically, they said to me, if you don't pay this, bailiffs will be round. That's what they said to me. It's the first thing.
Sorry, you broke up then. If you don't pay this, what?
The bailiffs will be round.
So they're making a claim.
I know this is a real cowardly way out, but I actually just wanted it to go away, so I paid it, which maybe is a wrong thing. But when they threatened me with bailiffs to start with, because I was going, I don't want to pay this. Why should I? I haven't been using this service for like 6 weeks. But anyway,
okay.
I did pay it because they threatened me with bailiffs to start with.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, the ecclesiastical deed poll is something that involves the canon laws to the guy that wants to know. And because he didn't get the, let's have a look. Is D near on the keyboard near a V? It is actually quite close to a V. He might have done it with a Sovereign Smith potato thumb press, like the nose gets 2 keys at the same time.
I can hit 4 or 5 keys on my thumb.
But it's to do with canon and ecclesiasticals, and we can elaborate on that if that's something. But you can find that if he joins the Facebook Trust, Sovereign Paralegals, and comes in on there, we'll find out about it. But it comes in with like a certificate of life. You could, Andy, you found a document, didn't you? Have you got the document? Can you show him the document? Is it there?
Oh, I don't know.
You've stashed it away in the safe, haven't you? Wait 1 minute. So an evidence of life is what you might get from the hospital because you are born, and when you're born, you don't have a birth certificate. You might not even have a given name. When the mum gives birth, and you come down the canal, the birthing canal, and the doctor takes you, in the delivery room, they might not have the given name, so they'll birth the surname, and they'll give it a certificate of birth for the surname to be birthed, and that's the part of the trust that's on the registration and so forth later on. There's a capital part, the surname, and then we'll leave the Christian given name blank, and it's like, oh wow, this evidence of life is then sent to the Vatican with what goes off in the hospital with the blood taking and the weighing and the heels and the stamps. Yeah, the Vatican don't get that. They don't do that for no reason. They take your prints there. They take them. The Vatican's got a copy of you. So when you do documents like this with thumbprints on, and you write to the Vatican and you put your prints on, they'll probably check them prints from when you were born, and they'll be like, so he's claimed what? Let me see the original. Get the master file out, please. That's not how they speak in the Vatican, I know. And they get it out. And they look, my man's companion is the same as the prince. It's a work of the art. Mamma mia. Pay the man. Yes, pay the man. And they pay the man. This is how it goes. So that document, what is it, Andy? Go on, tell them.
Oh, I love it. And the part about the moniker before that was just so funny, man. You got me in giggles, really. That was awesome. You should be an actor.
No, it's
hey,
not.
Listen, I'm sorry to be rude and interrupt you there, but I have to go, guys, and private men and private women have to go. I've got to go to bed. It's late here, and I just want to say thank you for having me on. Thank you for coming on, and I'll listen in on the chat, but I can't take part. I want to go to sleep soon.
Yeah, you've got to be up early in the morning, haven't you?
Yeah, I have, yeah. But it's been awesome, and I will continue listening, like I say. And thank you for coming on once again. It's brilliant. You guys are just awesome, right?
Thank you.
Yeah,
And thank
good luck
you
tomorrow,
as
Astral.
well, Patricia. Yes, cheers, man.
Good night, Astral. Good night,
Yeah,
Astral.
Good night, everybody. Take it easy.
Ciao, bello.
Okay. No, night,
Have fun.
Astral.
Love you, Astral.
Love you all too.
Yeah,
Good night.
fucking with
And
you.
also to all in the chat room, have fun, be good. Love you all. Bye.
To be godly is to be godly.
Get
Where were you, Dave?
It's nice to be nice, isn't it? People
Absolutely.
forget.
Absolutely.
Nice.
Don't
Even
mistake
being
the
nice.
kindness as a sign of weakness. I'm nice to everybody, and it's always nice to be nice. That's how it is. That's how we get along.
Yeah,
with
isn't it? Isn't there a saying? You treat people as you wish to be treated.
Doing to others,
Yeah,
as I would
doing to others.
doing to you. That's right.
Inwardly to project what you want to outwardly attract.
Inward
That's-
manifestation.
I'm trying to.
Excuse everybody, the panel's going a little bit slow. I don't know what the chat room's seeing, but it's taking a bit of a while to pass over when people are talking. Yeah, treat people as you wish to be treated, or what you give out comes back.
Absolutely.
But I'm not sure if that's quite right, because you can be nice people and be surrounded by people who aren't like that. So
That's the laws of nature. If what you inwardly manifest, you outwardly attract. If you're low in your own self at times, and you think you're a bloody fool, you tend to attract fools. However, when you lift your vibration and you think higher than you have been, you attract the same like mind, which enables all of us to help us along our way to living instead of just merely surviving.
yeah, I suppose it's the way you think things, isn't it, as well?
Absolutely, it's your own cognitive training. It's whatever track you're on. Every man speaks his truth, whether that truth is factual or what remains, as it is. But we're all entitled to our truth, and we're all entitled to our belief system, whatever that may be. God love us for it. But it's just that some of us are on a more truer, righteous path than others. Some of us see things that others don't. Some of us hear things that others don't. And if we can all collaborate together, what we've all seen and heard, and we can all bring a positive connection from it, then that's how we endeavour to carry ourselves forward without harm, loss, or injury to one another.
Does your family support what you're doing, by the way, Andy?
I've got a very limited family. I don't have parents. My girlfriend of 21 years, she hasn't got any parents, so pretty much we've only got one another. We've got our offspring, but when it comes to my lawful and divine righteousness, I'm pretty much individual. To be fair, I'm called upon my needs for when it's needed, and that's pretty much it. Otherwise, I'm just left to do my own thing. Really, to be fair, it's a give and take thing. She doesn't mind. She doesn't want the notoriety of it. She doesn't want to step forth or anything. She hears it all day. Since Dave's brought me to the forefront of his platform, my phone doesn't stop, and friend requests and messages and private situations and people in trouble and just and looking for wisdom and inspiration and all from health and wealth, basically, because I have covered quite a lot of the knowledge based things to do with health and wealth. So although I speak minimal, I do have a wealth of knowledge, I've been told, and it's quite overwhelming for me to receive all this input that I've had of recent, which is massively positive. And I didn't realise that I'd educated myself quite to the level that I have done. So it's all new to me as well. We haven't got a book of life, have we? We can only live every moment as it comes and endeavour to do the best with it. So that's what I try and do, really.
Well, thank you very much for doing that.
No, thank you.
Because I mean, I've
Thank you
seen
yourself.
David's constantly on Facebook doing live chats, aren't you, as well?
Yeah. Well, the night we
you're
went to Liverpool, it was actually my girlfriend's 40th birthday that day, and that was the day that myself and David actually invoked and turned around and put into true natural capacity a member and a representative of the Vatican. And it was at that point there that we realised our verbiage and our intent and everything that comes with us is that which is true and proper, and it resonates. And to get someone of that power and authority to come and stand by our side after we'd compelled him to do such about 20 minutes of bartering. We realised at that point, you know, we are the authority and we do have God-given divine power within when we know how and who to use it with in the correct manner.
Yeah.
It's all about choosing your battles, you know, choose your battles, choose them wisely. Don't go after every man and his dog, you know, every parking tickets and parties. Some things are just easier, like you said earlier. Some things are just easier to be paid or easier to be, you know, levied in other ways. But if you've got something that's, you know, that's truly wrong, then endeavour to put it right in every avenue. That's what man does, isn't it? Surely we endeavour to put others' wrongs against us right, if it's caused you a detriment, loss, or harm, or an injury.
Do you worry that they'll tighten up these laws because basically you're finding almost like the loopholes, although they're correct?
You can't tighten up the laws of the Creator. You can't tighten up the laws of nature. They was here before us. We can only invoke them.
I have a question.
I was just wondering, the more people like you who manage
exactly.
I was just wondering, would they make it even harder for people like you to go, no, 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 no?
I don't say no, I decline respectfully. To say no is vexatious.
Yeah, I know, but that's what you're saying, even if you're doing it the other way. But yeah, I just wondered if the more people like you who manage to show them what an arse the law is,
the law is an ass.
It's their law. It's land, air, and water. It's their law. It's for their society, and it's imposed upon a person. So if you think you're a person, it's like wearing a jacket. All them duties and liabilities and fines and forfeitures that it carries, you're going to be liable for, and you know, incarceration and kidnap and all them sorts of things. We don't invoke kidnap the word, but we'll say it so it's cognitive. And all these things, and you don't get a chance to get the jacket off before all these things are imposed upon you. And it's that jurisdiction of the law that you have to separate yourself from if you haven't done a wrong. A lot of that will be for civil claims and civil issues, you know, in which case you can dispel and discharge them in the correct manner, rather than giving them your own
I thought that they sorted it all out really well, Andy, because years ago I thought about becoming a counsellor myself because I felt like I wanted to help the people. And when I looked at it, if we were standing opposite each other, when I look at you, the law's protecting you, and when you look at me, the law's protecting me. How can it be protecting?
Absolutely.
It's protecting both of us.
It's universal. That's what it is. It's universal law. That's what we are of. That's what we are created unto.
Yes, set law. Set law, Andy.
Man is born for remedy. And when you know how to invoke it, your remedy shall come from your person. It's difficult to understand. Man's born for remedy unto his person. Your person is your corporate entity. And you step up in persona for that entity when it benefits you. If it doesn't benefit you, then you don't take on that title and capacity. And if you are taking on that title and capacity and you are dealing with that estate, then you're to do it within the correct manner and jurisdiction of the law.
And obviously people listening in, anybody that that doesn't, they're explaining what they do and how they help people.
It will save you a lot of your sweat equity. You might be able to go on holiday this year instead of give it to the tax man or the TV man or some other man that's coming for a part of your monthly salary. All these parasites live off your salary, and you keep inviting them into the life, whether it's through tacit tort agreement, acquiescence, contract, whichever way you let them into your life, they leech onto your salary any way as possible. So if you can learn to enact it in the commercial jurisdiction in the correct manner and discharge and dispel things, do you know your pen's mightier than the sword? And then it may leave you with some of your sweat equity left over. So then you can go on to do other things in life. You can swap it for things of intrinsic value.
Yeah, man. Bombing your room.
What, you mean you can get out of paying all the bills?
Pardon?
Get out of paying all the bills then?
So yeah,
Andrew, you're getting some good love on the chat room as well. The people are the brothers and sisters, private people are saying, yeah, love Andrew. Some good comments. I've just put loads of links in, sister. So they've got the website. Somebody called Marilyn says she might need some help. So I said she can call after 10 a.m. This number, yeah, this phone. If she texts it now, I'll get the text through. The number for this is on the website. You've got 109 watching as well. Wow.
oh
Quite
my
busy in
lord.
here. That's why your chat room's slowing down, because there's a lot of comments coming in. Man can't keep up.
I've put the slow mode on it. I have to, because it just stops trolls coming in and going da-dung and like bombing.
Oh, so that's why it's bulking. I'm just trying to post because
So that's why
mine
you
are
can
over
only do
2
it every few seconds, because it just stops. If the troll comes in, they try. I don't know what they do, but they try and release like and it stops that. So
yeah. I've typed in comments over 200 characters. I had to cut them back down to less than. Press the first bit in, then copied the second bit and put that in. And it's on slow mode, so I've got double trouble going off. But I've done it. We're in.
Sorry. Anyway, it was
break it down to what Andy would say.
He loves
Andy. It's ecclesiastical babble. I can't just, I can't. One day I will. Yeah, one day I will.
If you enact in a divine righteous manner, you need to know not the ecclesiastical and canon law.
Yeah, on here, Pat Mustard's put, stop consenting.
Yes, exactly. You have a choice. You have a choice.
So freely, everything's a consent. Everything in life is consent. You know, to give your own love is your consent. Everything is that way. So, you know, respectfully decline now and again. See what happens. Your life might change for the better.
You have the right not to be the person. Yes, your person is given to you for remedy, isn't it? Born of remedy. God is the creator, is not the respecter of persons.
Well, what they call the law, the acts and statutes, all acts and statutes have the full force of law with consent of the governed. I consider myself to be self-governing. I know right from wrong, and I shall only endeavour to do that which is right. I will not do wrong by another. So therefore, I don't have to know what the acts and statutes are, because I'm protected by the laws of divine creativity and of the universe.
That's what we've got to go around saying, basically.
Well, if that's how you feel, then say it. That's how I feel. So that's how I say it. I only ever say it.
Repeat those words again, Andy. Repeat them again.
you live your life in the right, proper manner.
Wait.
It's on the video. Just rewind the video. That's all right.
True, right, and proper. True, right, and proper, whichever way you want to do it. If it's proper, true, and right, that's it. Just. I like the word just as well, because
we don't make law but dull. We don't make law. We make law interesting.
Yeah,
we make it interesting and not boring. We'll entertain you with it. We'll make a humour side of it. It's not funny at all, but we will make it comical because somebody has to. And you know, it's not the end of the world.
Dark. It's horrible thing. It's an awful thing that's been imposed upon us. So if we can make light and a light-hearted situation during that dark, oppressive time, then we shall, because it uplifts our spirits and moods, and it gives us the courage to keep the strength up to do what we're doing.
Wasn't there a song?
Big hugs. That's what I felt saying. That big hugs to you. Sorry, Flat Earth Dude. What did you want to say?
Well, when they call your name in court, there was a song that said, I can't remember who sings it, but it goes something like, "It ain't me." That
if
ain't
they call
me.
your name in court,
Shaggy,
if I give you my name, sir, will you accept it?
That's it. Don't use that in court. That's a joke, by the way. But that's just like just don't. You need to say there's 100 people watching, brothers, sisters. Yeah, your joke is if I give you my name, yeah, will you accept it? That's like to make the judge think, you know, funny man. Hey, he's not going to take your name and accept it, but that's what he wants you to do, to accept. When he says, "Are you Mr. Andy Sovereign Smith?" and you go, "Yes, I am." That's it. He's connected you. Now you're joined. You are bonded to it. Bondage. You know, you've been bonded to it. Before you take a man's property, I think it's in Deuteronomy, this bit. I'm not
Mhm.
sure which bit, and I'm not a Christian, but I have
I
researched
then would
where
have
it's come
committed
from. You must
personage.
first bond
Yeah,
him before
because
you
I'm
take
stepping up.
commands.
Yeah,
Yeah, is
I'm
it something like
stepping up
that?
then as a copyrighted name. I would then be
Yes.
committing personage by saying I am that copyrighted entity, and I'm clearly not. I'm that of the creation of the creator, and God is not a respecter of persons. So that's how it is.
So that
But
bit
I
about
would
when
like.
you talk about names in the chat room, Baron's put it wasn't me.
Yeah, what you would say, Baron? You would say, what has any of this got to do with me? It hasn't anything to do with me. It's got to do with your person. When they write to Mr.
I will
Baron
take on
Barry,
that name.
you know.
I will take on that title and I will take on that legal fiction today, but it will cost you 10,000 sterling. If it doesn't benefit me, I won't take on the title. I won't take on the entity. It's like an actor. I could go on there today, be Frank. Who loves your pet? Yeah. Is enacting that persona. So if they wish me to come and enact that persona of Mr. Sovereign Smith, I shall do, but I'm going to be remunerated in a fashion that is just and fair. I require just and fair compensation for any time that I step up and be a legal fiction because I'm acting in commerce. And I'm sure anybody that's watching tonight, nobody goes to work for free. We all do it for a reason. We don't do it for the love of the company or the love of the workmates or anything else. We do it to feed the family. So if I'm going to enact in commerce for anybody, then there may be a fee attached. It's as simple as that.
Yeah, well, we're slaves, aren't we, really?
Well, then the name is a slave. The name is bonded. And if you wish to enact that name, then yes, you shall be enslaved by it.
Can I speak?
Yeah, sure, go for it, Tommy.
Okay, I like what Andy had to say about the Bible and stuff, and what David said about we were born under maritime admiralty law, and how you know we were born under on this ship Citizen. We're on the citizenship, and then
dictatorship,
friendship. Don't forget your friendship.
Courtship, and your all the ships. And I took some notes here and stuff, but I mean, this stuff about slavery and stuff. I was wondering if you ever, when you brought up the King James Bible, I think it's Genesis 53:13 that says we will be enslaved. The Israelites will be enslaved for 400 years, right? In bondage and enslaved for 400 years. And I think it's Genesis 53:13. And then in the King James Bible, it's or actually it's when you brought up the King James Bible, the year 1619 kicked in, because that's when the transatlantic slave company actually was founded, and that is in 1619. And with all this crazy stuff going on, with everybody being awakened lately, with the flat earth situation, because the same buggers that put us in slavery, it's the same Vatican that has been behind everything since day one.
The merchants, the mercantile laws.
The merchants, exactly, the Phoenicians, right? These
phonies, yeah. The phonies, phonetics and phony. Look at them. That's where that comes from. Yeah. Sorry to interrupt.
The transatlantic slave corporation started in 1619, and then I'm applying the 400 years of bondage to the year 1619, which would be the year 2019 when the bus runs out of gas.
Yeah.
People. Are you
following?
following?
Right? 2021.
And then with this Phoenician guys,
that's
the
nice
Phoenician
work.
Canaanites set up a system of Phoenician Canaanite banking with the Phoenician symbols all connected to their banking system. And then it was basically through Greece to Rome to Britannia, and now over to North America. And it's an ancient Phoenician Druidic Canaanite magical system of finance, government, and education, and all the rights.
We still speak and write phonetically today. Our language is phonetically spoken.
Yeah.
When the secretary takes shorthand for the boss, she writes in phonetics. You know, in the shorthand manner. That's phonetically writing.
And see, this is where they got everybody by the short and curls, because nobody even knows which way to turn. Personally, I try and tell people, like, I go out in public and it's like, I mean, everybody really likes me and stuff, but I just kind of freak them all out because I scare the shit out of most people on a good day because they're so brainwashed that they just don't want to hear what I have to say because it's actually scary.
It's the
to wake
water.
them up.
It's in the air. They're spraying us like bugs. It's in the taps. It's in the food that we eat. It's in the land. All these
Well,
dumbing down agents and carcinogenics that they're feeding us are all there as part of the indoctrination programming with the mainstream media.
I guess it's got to be a single father thing because I was in court. I became a single father when my daughter was 6 years old. I'm a grandfather now. And I went through the court system. Even though the government actually placed her with me, my ex dragged me through the court system for 5 years of hell. The whole time I was, well, I mean, I was, you know, my daughter, she just moved to Nova Scotia just recently, but she's been with me pretty much the whole time.
Isn't it?
But when I hear David and you and myself, and I know there's several other dudes out there that have been single fathers and have been through the mill, I mean, that's when I started looking at everything too, because I mean, being on this ship, you go in there and they open a gate, you know, it's like, it's all the formalities of it all and the black robes.
That's why they have gatekeepers.
Yeah, and then the black robes, these guys are all like, you know, the witches wear black robes, the priests wear black robes. You know, these judges are wearing black robes. You graduate in university, they put that square box on your head, the mortarboard, and you got a black robe on too. You know, and then I think it was Jordan Maxwell said even the Ayatollah Khomeini, he wore a black robe. You know, so like these guys are like witches, and if you don't believe in witchcraft, I mean, it's real. And these guys, you know, they got blood over intent kind of stuff.
And that's why we're here to dispel their spellings towards us.
Exactly. And it's a tough battle, but we can do it. I mean,
now we're on common ground. We need unity.
Yeah, I mean, I've been at this for a long time, and my family, they think they love me and everything, but I scare the shit out of my family. I'm not invited over a lot of the family functions and stuff because, you know, I'll give old Marg a heart attack kind of thing. And,
me too, brother. Me too.
I'm a grandfather. I got 2 grandkids in diapers right now. I got a 14-year-old son. I got a 28-year-old daughter. You know, both my parents are dead of cancer. I started looking at this when I was 10 years old. You know,
you preach your gospel, brother.
My mother in 6 months, right? And I've been bucking the system since then. Ever since my mother passed away, and my whole life that was like living in Wonderland went out the window overnight, and my whole life was disrupted. I just started looking at everything ass backwards since then. And my dad said to me until the day he died, he said, "Look, Tommy, you're the black sheep of the family. That's no kidding, right?" And
me too. Yes, brother Tommy. Me too. I'm the black sheep of my family. That's what we are. That's like that. We rebel. We question authority. We say, "Who are you? Why?" You know.
Everything, man. I spent 5 years in high school. Got 1 credit.
Respect you, brother. That's much love to you. Much love to you. Go on, Tommy.
I got my university education by photocopying my younger brother's best friend's university graduation diploma, and I went through the whole system riding on that for my whole life. So I just said it's all it took. Just it was the right time. Nowadays, computers got you. I mean,
it's application. If you don't apply yourself correctly in the correct manner, then you won't get any. You won't see any fruit of your labour. You must apply yourself correctly. It's no good going on he said, she said, and have you got a form I can download so I can put my name on it? It's no good because if you're questioned upon it, you can't stand upon it. So therefore, you're going to look a fool.
Most of the jobs I ever got was in the face-to-face because I could sell ice cubes to Eskimos, my dad said.
Exactly. Because they're buying you. They don't care what the paperwork says. They're buying you.
So bad nowadays.
It's your hand that creates. Yeah, they're paying for the creator, not the paper that says so. You can have a high school graduate that comes with a portfolio of paperwork this thick. The boy can't get a job because he has no experience. Exactly. Nobody will start him with experience because his portfolio says he hasn't got any. He's got all the exams and qualifications there to say so, but he hasn't actually done the hands-on job. So when you're applying in these situations, it's yourself that you've got to sell and put the paperwork to the side and let them check over the paperwork after you've proved that your fair hands can create that of what you've said of your word. Your word is your honor.
Yeah.
Thomas.
Exactly. And nowadays it's
Not
hard
bad,
because,
is it?
like I was saying earlier, I quit my job about 4 months ago, 5 months ago, and I'm not really looking. Not that I'm really in any hurry, but nowadays trying to get a job, you got to go through this computer. You know, they basically they screen out so many applicants and they check you out just by the computer ratings on you and this, that, and the other thing. And like I said, I'm the kind of guy that, you know, most jobs I got was like knocking on the door and hitting a resume, and I sold myself the job right as soon as I walked in the door, right?
Exactly.
Nowadays, a lot of these places, they don't want to see you unless you went through the H&R department, and the H&R department just reminds me of like, well, you got the, you know, this is human resources, right? So that would be, you got your chicken resources, you got your cow resources.
Humans are not resources, Tommy. We're not
fish resources. I'm going like, I ain't big on the human resources department. Like, you know, it's just, but,
there's a misconstrued relationship there going on as well, because the corporation would believe that through your application they have chosen you, but it's 180 from the truth, because whereby you called them in the first place, you filled in with your hand and pen their application, you have put your skills forward, and upon successful application and they give you the role, you then choose to go there every day. You choose to put on their uniform and represent that corporation in good faith and honour. You choose to do that every day. But they will spin it round on your ass and start putting it into slavitude and holding you for long hours and low pay, because you need that job, you need them. And this is the misconstrued relationship we have in society, where everyone is a slave to the dollar, and, you know, money is low and prices are high. And this is what we've got to change with the power of the pen.
Yeah.
Well, it starts with submitting, doesn't it? Whenever one submits, what did you do there? What?
You've got your arm up your back. If you
submitted the job application. What? You submitted, and that's where it begins. The beginning of the end, when you submit, isn't it? That's what we don't do anymore. We notice, or we might want to, you know, go in and sell ourselves in a different capacity, to, you know, commerce in a different capacity, interact in a different capacity, think about money, finance, credit, intrinsic value and things like that, and what we can do with ourselves, like what, you know, Mr. Thrive and Survive, we're trying to do, you, Sun and Moon, others around the you know, the existence. It's magical.
Across the plane.
Air aglow.
I started watering my aluminum.
You're mad, Ed. Oh, did you see my video? What you got? Andy, that scrap heap I had. I said I gave it tap water, didn't I? It was aluminium.
Oh, actually, watching the video. All right.
I don't know. I just think this is a synchronicity. Why, Tommy, why are you watering the aluminium?
Because I noticed yours was growing in your backyard.
You did see the video. Get in. Get in, brother.
Yeah, man. Word. Yeah.
Boom, Shanka. So near, so far apart. It's amazing. See if we can utilise this technology, and in this given day and age now, you know, ignorance is truly a choice. We have to apply ourselves in the correct way to seek remedy and do it for one and all. Mainly, you have to do it for yourself, and then after that,
the kids, the children, our offspring that's going to be born into debt.
What? Home educate, incidentally.
Well, thanks for saying that, Andy. Big flat Earth hugs to you.
Yeah. I told you you'd love it.
Schooling is falling, and it says in their own acts and statutes that education isn't school, so school isn't education in my mind. So my good soulmate Dawn, she does all the education, cooking, sewing, cleaning, all the things that would keep you alive and sustain life. We promote, advocate, and educate with. We don't do a set curriculum as such. However, she just picks and chooses the amount of like mathematical conundrum she faces herself with, and I do push her with her Oxford English and obviously the etymology, so that she can always enact and present herself in the correct manner.
So we're always using the right words.
Absolutely, and within the correct narrative. So, you know, one
Oh,
word, one
made
meaning.
you laugh. I made you laugh, man.
Goodness, yeah, you don't know. He does use the right words, and yeah, well done for picking that up.
So we only speak
Using the
to
right
each other
word.
with certain words now.
Right, using the right words. It's for the juniors, isn't it? You know. So it's
And
just
about
with
the
intent.
distilled
If you
waters.
have goodwill and good intent, then good shall prevail.
Oh, positive.
And,
Very positive. I like it.
We have free will. We're only born with free will. We have duties and responsibilities and liabilities to one another. So if we turn the free will to goodwill and good intent, and it's always the intention, we have to show intention. And the maxim of law is that, you know, you have substance over form. And it's no good sitting back talking about it, what you should do, could do, maybe do, and what you know, talking about others, what you should do. It's getting out there and doing it. It's putting it forward and acting upon it, you know, and that's the substance right there. So you only get out that which we put in. We've got to apply ourselves. I can't shout it loud enough in my own private way.
yeah.
Humanity's gone.
Humanity has gone. You know, people are walking by one another who's in distress and dis-ease, and people sleeping on the streets because they're too busy checking their own applications or ordering something off Go and Duck Daddy and all this sort of thing. You know,
Duck Daddy, go on.
Andy, can I say something? Andy, can I say something? I don't want to upset, but does your partner want to join in on this hangout a bit? Sit with you, or
she's here.
what does she say? No, thank you.
She's extremely loving. She's got an extremely soft heart, but she's got an absolute skin of an alligator.
Oh.
But it's the truth. I mean, no malice or harm by it. It's the absolute truth. It took me a while to get through. You know, she's a tough one, but she's full of love. So please don't, you know, get upset by anything she says or does. She means nothing by harm or malice, but she's just very dry.
Stop it. You're free. I'm going to have to change it quickly. You're killing me, man. You're free. You were free, right? They're walking around.
Free will. I've got free will. We've got free speech. We're free to show our feeling. And that's another thing. And that's another thing. We are free to show our feeling.
I'm trying to say something. Go on.
We need to show more feeling.
He's really right about what he says, right, Andy? Yes. But if we don't know who we are and we're all full up of this horrible system which has happened to us, our parents, you know, you're thick, you're useless, you're stupid, and you don't know who you are, and you don't trust anyone, then you're not free to use the words. You're only going to use this, what do you call it, what's been indoctrinated into you from a child.
Absolutely.
Do you see what I mean? You've got to know who you are as well.
Until you stand up and take responsibility for whom and what you are, you're always going to be seen as a child. The judicial service deal with you as a juvenile delinquent because you haven't stepped up and took responsibility and ownership of of the estate.
Yeah. Yeah. I was going to say before we sidetrack, you are free. All of you lot are free at present. Don't get me wrong. You are free, but you know what? You're free to choose what to buy. You're free to choose what company to select. You're free to choose what, you know, service to have. You're not free in the sense that, you know, they say, oh, you're free. And all these songs that come out, you're free to do what you want. Soup Dragons, you know, 1990s, Rosala, free. They keep putting that word around in the media, free. Right. Yeah, but we're not free. You're only free you're free is to put your hands in your pocket and spend and give them money. That's what you're free for. Other than that, don't be getting above your stations. You know what I mean?
The best prisoners are those who think they are free.
Concrete jungle.
Yeah, that's why they build these open jails, you know, for the entrusting. And they're neither here nor there because we're all the same way. And it's through the manipulation of the TV programming for the consumerism.
Something else that's important that we haven't mentioned, if you happen to be a black viewer that we have, a black brethren, brother, yeah, member of the, and I can say that word because, you know, it's politically correct, but I need to stress this. If you are black and you have listened to the news recently, I heard today on BBC Radio 4 that after a recent survey in London and the atrocities that have happened and the crime, you know, they've correlated the information. And if you happen to be a black man, you're 4 times more likely to receive a violent arrest. I'm like, what do you mean you're 4 times likely to receive a violent arrest? Well, basically, there's 4 times more violent arrests happen to black guys and mixed. We're not just black like Jamaican. I think they mean just like, you know, I think they've been messed up. I think what they mean is mixed race. To be fair, so you know you're free, and we've got this like the women aren't given equal rights and things like that in the law with wages. We've got an oppressive system, right? And I will speak up for the black guys. I will speak up, like I've mentioned Stephen Lawrence's mum. If you don't know Stephen Lawrence's mum and you don't live in the Anglo Isles, I suggest you look at how she became a lady and what she did with the system and what she's actually faced, you know. And this is the system in itself, racial hatred. And if it hates the race, if it hates the people with brown skin, the white folk, and it hates the ladies, then what kind of a system is governing us? One that hates people with brown skin and women? Well, I don't like the sound of that, do you, Andy?
Not.
Told you that.
Isn't it brought to the forefront now where they're having to identify themselves that they're legitimately here now, otherwise they're getting deported back to other countries?
The Windrush scandal.
Whereby their mothers and fathers have fought in the war, and their offspring that are left behind are probably now in their 60s and whatever you else. Yeah, they're having to prove themselves to the country now. It's absolutely disgusting what's going on.
Windrush, for anybody that doesn't know that, is on about the Windrush generation. And yeah, the fact they've come over and worked as part, they were invited. They already came over though on British passports, and they got rid of them. When they came over, they says, "Oh, you don't need them anymore. You can hand them in. You don't need any. You're British now." And they gave them in. They came over on British passports. They gave them in as the government.
That's the reason why they wanted so many people with one kind of passport then.
Say that again.
There's a lot of people,
what was that?
There's a lot of people in the Commonwealth, isn't there? So they actually wanted one kind of play.
You break up. Again? Say again.
Well, you know, we're in this Commonwealth. There's a lot of countries in the Commonwealth which can all have, I suppose, is it asylum here? So, do you know what I mean? It must be that their passports are going to have the crown on it. They just wanted one kind of passport, basically.
We should be able to live anywhere. This is our Earth. This is Mother Earth. There should be no borders, no dictatorship. Who can come where and why and what, and ports and passes and whatnot, like chattel and cargo. This Mother Earth we're born onto for remedy. And it says in my book, we're given dominion. This is my dominion, not theirs.
Yeah. The cards, the ID, stuff like that, you know. The shipment cards.
There's something else you've been doing as well lately, David, isn't there?
What? Have you got cameras in my house? What?
Water testing.
Oh yes. Oh yes, distilling water. Yeah, Stanley, Dodgy Doctors from YouTube, because he's in the trust and doing a considerable amount of effort for him, to be fair, on a daily basis. Not that he needs, not to make him feel bad, but he's got an issue of which is going to be tackled, you know, till it gets resolved, and they're taking a bit of a beating. So he said he wanted to get this distiller because he saw me drinking from this Tesco value. Other such brands are available, Lidl and Asda. Chase Spring by Tesco. And Lidl also sell Chase Spring, and that's their own branded stuff, but it says Chase Spring on it. So I distilled the water and I drank it, and it tasted lovely, and looked at what was in there, and I was like, that smells a bit plasticky, a bit chemically. The video's on YouTube on Indiglo, and I was like, what's all that then, Stanley? Because that's all your hydrochloride, fluoride, and other such chemicals and minerals and impurities. I'm like, and what's that then? He's like, you've been drinking that all your life. You don't need that. It's bad for you. And if you want to make colloidal silver, colloidal copper water, then you need to distill or find distilled water and make it from that with, you know, zero tolerance for any impurities, and any particles in the water. So when you distill water, that skengy crap you see at the bottom is all of the parts per million of the impurities that are in there. That's actual solids. That stuff, that chalky, horrible stuff that's on the video, and then the brown stuff that's there is all the chemicals and the water company
and chlorine.
Yeah, the water companies don't filter out estrogen. So men, when you drink the water, you're drinking female hormone in with that bleach as well, and calcification of the pineal gland. And furthermore, when we go for a wee and we wee it out and we've had antibiotics and medication and steroids, they don't filter all of that out either. So it's like, hang on a minute, you're telling me the world's made of 80% water and what I'm drinking is basically shite, and you want me to pay for it? No, thank you.
And
No,
we
I said no
ourselves,
to that.
and we
I said no.
ourselves are at least 70% water, aren't we? So
We're a
it's all
distiller in
about-
ourselves. Yeah.
we need healthy drinking water for start off with, because
Good Lord.
we're almost like fish tanks, aren't we? Our pH level needs to be correct against the alkalinity.
Yeah.
It's the acidic conditions in which all the cancers thrive and
Yep.
finish off. So if we can keep our alkalinity and pH levels correct with clean, fresh, live water, you know, if you're going to distill the water, use Celtic or rock salts and other pink rock salts to put your minerals
yeah, I've got a
and salt
technique, Andy.
that we
I've got a
sweat out.
technique. Let me get the jug. Let me get it.
And replace all your lost electrolytes and things that we can get from the live plants. Put that back in with your salt, and you don't have to put too much, you know, so it's awful, but it helps replenish all the minerals and things that we lose through sweating.
Yeah, Toronto recycles the city water, and we have a 300-mile lake out there, and it's 32 miles across to New York State.
Wow.
And we're such an environmentally friendly city of 7 million people plus that we recycle our city water. And I know guys that change transmissions over manholes. I know guys who dump industrial waste into these sewers, and then
Hydraulic oils and things, yeah.
then when you actually, plus when, like even what David said about the hormones and everything, everybody's antibiotics are going in, they're all being recycled, heart medications, all the junkies,
God.
and
Yeah.
whoever's using drugs, alcohol, all that, they're recycling this city water, and actually they're loading it up with sodium fluoride, which I guess Canada's got a deal made with China, because I guess we owe China for our 1975 and 1980 underwears. So we didn't pay for them. So I guess that we got to deal with them for China to dump the industrial waste from the aluminum manufacturing industry into our local waters to drink.
Yeah.
It's easier for us to drink it up than to dispose of it. But meanwhile, it's a serious carcinogen.
So they can use us.
Like
we are filtering it for them, aren't
you
we?
got a 300-mile lake out there, 32 miles across, fresh water. We recycle our city water. When you take the chlorine and all the chemicals out of the water, there's literally floating feces on top of the brown water that's coming out of the tap water.
Yeah.
It puts a whole new meaning to the word shithead, because the brain itself, the human brain, is 88% water, if you wanted to know.
Yeah.
I did some study on that. And
That's what's critical to
basically,
keep the water
I
channel.
love what you said, Andy, about us being just a fish tank, right? Because the pH levels are all twisted, and who knows what they're polluting the pool as we speak, right? So I mean,
see, and in a fish tank, we have a filter, much like our body's kidneys and livers. They filter our body, but once the filter starts to get clogged and blocked, well, then they're not running efficiently anymore, much like the fish tank. So we need to flush the system completely using certain things, and do that as often as you feel necessary for your individual self, and then drink healthy live water in between.
Come on, Tube. Let's go and show you the distiller then. I can't keep quiet anymore. So what I do now, that's how it is set up. Set it up like that. It does plug in, but we're not bothered plugging it in. So imagine it's plugged in. What I do is I get this, come around here, and I drop in there now, before the water goes in, about a good chunk of pink salt, just like 1 grain of pink salt, because as it distills out of here, it comes out hot, well, warm, you can imagine, steam. So it then, when it's hot, it will dissolve the pink salt in the base of that 4-litre jug. So lucky for you, I haven't cleaned this out, because Dodgy Doctors here on YouTube who sent me this said when you've used it, you can leave it a week or so, and then you clean it with vinegar and stuff. So Dodgy Doctors, you'll be pleased to know, and here's the evidence. I haven't cleaned it out, so you can see this is the remnants of 5 litres, though. It's not massive amount of horribleness. But 1 minute, I'll take this off, and you can have a look inside.
We're supposed to drink like 3 litres a day. We're supposed to drink, aren't we? Let's say between 2 and 4 litres a day we're supposed to drink of water to stay healthy. So if this has been distilled just 5 litres, let's have a look at that. Look, and how much water we've drunk over our lifetimes from these sources.
Yeah, you're seeing there, getting a good view of the. You write down Side walls are white and chalky. Is it coming out? Yeah. Anything there?
Yeah.
Yeah, brown. That's brown, that is. And when you scratch that, watch. You see them lines? It's chalky. So when you come with some abrasive, wait, do it for you. Ruin me torch. Now look, see what I mean? And that's an actual. You've got flakes there. 3D parts have come off it.
And then that lime scale there, that's the exact stones, the kidney stones and things that suffering
Yes,
with.
I've had those. I've had to have my gallbladder removed and stuff like that. Because we're like a kettle, aren't we?
Yeah, exactly. If you read any medication forms closely, they'll say to be drunk with water. Or, if you've been dehydrated in any measures, they'll say you to drink X amount of water per day. And it normally says next to it in brackets, not from the tap.
Well, yes, it does.
There's these, you can get these meters you get off of Amazon, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm waiting for. I've ordered one. Yes, brother.
Yeah,
yes, Thomas. TDE. Explain this to me because I've never used one. Yes, please.
Oh, it's easy. You just you pull this, it pops out, right?
Well,
what I do is because I've been drinking distilled water for about 5 years, but I haven't got to the store yet, right? But I've drinking distilled water from the pharmacy down the road.
Got us some moonshine.
And if you want to test it, you just pop this in here like this, push the button, and then it'll come up. It'll say 0 parts per million. Sometimes if I buy just like your spring water, which I don't ever do, but sometimes I got to give it to my dog because I don't have much.
Hello. Yeah.
My dog drinks distilled water too, and like I swear, I don't even have to. Sometimes I just think about things. It's exactly what I'm about to do. Like it's really cool because I've been drinking distilled water for over 5 years, and I never get sick. I'm going to be 56 years old in July, and I drink my own urine a couple times a week because I know your immune system's built into your own kickback, right?
That's right. We have the perfect immune
system. If anybody doesn't ever done it, you think, oh, you're drinking your own urine, well, whatever. I don't give a shit. I got books on that shit. I got 3 books on urine therapy alone, right? And there's over 2,300 urine therapy clinics in China or in that area, just treating people for cancer and all kinds of illnesses and stuff like that. Because it was made illegal for any country under the Queen in 1941 for any doctor to prescribe urine therapy, and that was under the Queen's direct orders, and that's scared Big Pharma because they don't want you curing yourself, and they want you good, stupid, and sick, and going to the pharmacy and doctor 3 times a week.
They practiced it in Hinduism many years ago.
Yeah, and I know that it's not like it's crazy, but you know what? I think it's crazy going to a doctor because doctors don't deal in health; they deal in death, right? And they know about cures, but they'll never give you one.
Exactly. Well, what is pharma?
Pharmakia in Greek means sorcery.
Yeah.
Yes. Get it.
Poison in Latin. So
medieval sin.
And they are practicing that. They are practicing medicine. So if they're practicing sorcery and poisons on you, then you're not going to get a remedy, are you? They want customers. They don't want cures. They want customers.
If you study Hebrew and Latin and Greek, numerology, and then you look at everything ass backwards because then you follow the Aleister Crowley's little tricks because everything's upside down and backwards.
Everything's 180. Yeah, 180 exactly.
It's a really crazy matrix, and if you got to be like I'm a warrior when it comes down to truth and stuff, and like I said before, I don't have many friends, but I'm a truther, and I kind of believe in being a Christian, right? I mean, I just try and live like that way.
Absolutely.
I don't, I'm not a religious kind of
just
person.
write a proper.
Tommy,
or
can I just say you live just right and proper? Yeah, that's how you live. You live like in a equatorial realm. You don't harm anybody. You don't cause anybody any loss. That's not necessarily a Christian way. That could be just you know a forthright, proper, natural, divine way. You live your life in a divine way. You know, you respect the natural laws and stuff. So yeah, that's good. The sun and the cross of fiction. You know. You got to be careful with all that. I don't want you to test your faith. I'm just saying.
I don't buy into too much like that because I know that these books have been manipulated. History has got a big problem with it too. Because I mean, I like what some of the megalithic structures around and stuff like this, you know, indicate that there's been plenty of deluges and lots of resets in our little timeline here. And I'm not even sure if this, you know, this whole thing about like, because I
Mandela effect.
You know, and well, the Roman Catholic Church is notorious for rewriting things over and over and over again.
Absolutely.
You know, King James in the Bible, if you wanted to follow that politically correct, was actually a black fella, and he even had his son Prince Charles, who was actually they got pubs in England called Black Boy Taverns, named after King Charles's Prince Philip or King George had a son or whatever, and he was black, and then the son was Prince Charles, and he was black, and like I said, there's Black Boy Taverns in UK named after him.
What? Are you sure? Are you sure about this, old bean? Are you definitely sure, fellow? What? Preposterous. Never.
Stuff, right? I mean, the whole Renaissance stuff, right, is being rewrite of history itself again, right? You know,
funny, Tommy, funny you should say that. I sent brother Andy, a video the other day about this guy talking about the King James Bible, and it might have been rewritten and changed and stuff again. Did you look at that clip, Andy, that I sent you? I bet you didn't, did you?
Yeah,
there was a guy explaining. Did you watched it? That blew my head. I haven't got a King James Bible, so I couldn't reference it. But he was saying that the guy, the guys that advise for the writings of the Bible, the modern day, the New Testament, and so forth, have a council. And in that video, Andy, that man mentioned what that council name was and who is on that board. And on that board of writing for the Jews and the Christians and other. It was quite deep. It was it was like there was a Semitic in there writing Christian things on a board of helping to govern. Was it about words? It was a book that governs the use of words or something in these testaments and how they translate and equate them to mean what. And these guys that write these books have got a mixture of faiths at the top of the thing, and it's like, oh, I see. There's one of each there. Just, you know, it's all basically corruption as we see it. Yeah, to get money. You know, to get them bonds. The Vatican's got all them bonds because we don't know that, because the monarchy hasn't taught us. So the Vatican have got clean hands. The monarchy so much really haven't got clean hands with regards to this. But in the realm of trust, they've gone against God. They've tricked man, taken our inheritance and gone against God. And they think that it's us that's got to put it right. Well, actually, they've wronged us. They've wronged us massively. It's the biggest crime to man that has ever been, known.
Yeah. And see, the Vatican, they openly worship Lucifer, right? And but I mean, the rewriting of history is like, these guys are notorious for doing it. And this is where I got to look at some of these, the whole timeline. I think there's something happened around like the 18th century that kind of changed things a lot, right? And like back in the day, a lot of these kings back and it's even known that a lot of these slave owners and stuff in North America were actually black people that owned these plantations that had black slaves.
Absolutely.
Tommy, can I just say something? So Tommy's just said something about history there, Patricia and family. So I'd like to reference one of the kings. I'll let you work that out and research it. Might have chopped the head off. He might have chopped the head off none other than the Archbishop of Canterbury or somewhere, the Archbishop of, I'll let you find that out, but the king, and it was you just referenced 1800s, I think you said, but yeah, sometime there was a bit of a fallout, we'll say, with the monarchy, its reign, the wars, the Doomsday Book, the 1066, the land tenure, all these acts, the Magna Carta, 1215, 1230, somewhere, the common law superstition with you're right there, you are bang on with all that, and that's where we go to Santos. Steve McRae, if you don't know, if you've never watched Steve McRae, I'll drop drop his name in because he came to support us at Liverpool and show his face. So we're not name dropping for popularity, but he's got stuff that we don't know about, and we're learning up to that level of the depth of the these numbers and years and that. I struggle to remember them. Andy does. We're not walking thesauruses, but we know a bit. Yeah, it's real deep. You bang on with that, Tommy. Bang on.
Even with Isaac Newton, right? This the doctor of our gravity formula with the apple falling out of the tree, old Isaac Newton. If you actually do any kind of research on him, he was Jesuit trained as well, right?
That's right, Mason.
He's more famous for his trying to decode the codes in the Bible, because the Bible's got all kinds of codes involved with it. Be it numerology, be it backwards. It's crazy. There's a
Da Vinci's painted. That's the first painting to have three-dimensional depth in it ever. So while you've said about codes and things like that, Last Supper is the table and the 12 disciples. They represent the stars, the moons, the constellations, and stuff like that.
The solar system.
Zodiac.
Yeah, go on. What are you going to say?
Yeah,
there is codes there, and also in the Bible. I'm not going to mention the passage again because we like you to do some work, but there's a reference.
Hello, David. We've lost your sound.
Yeah.
Right next to the Wi-Fi box.
Oh, there you go. Speak now.
Back in the room. Start again, lad.
I heard that, Dawn. When I next come round, there's going to be trouble on. Trouble on. References, Bible, codes. Yeah. So I said about the Da Vinci painting has got the 3D concept in there. Did you get that bit? And the disciples, you said the sun and moons and stuff, the constellations. Yeah. And then in one of the passages, the tax man approaches the Jeebus and says, hey up, it's tax time, like pay me some tax, lad. And he says, do you know who I am? And he's like, what? He says, do you know who I am? And he went, no, don't. He goes, well, I'm the son of God. This isn't the story, but I'm going to enlighten it, make a bit of fun. Because I'm the son of God. I don't pay tax. My man owns this shit, so I'm not paying you nothing, pal. He's like, well, if you don't pay me no tax, I'm afraid you got to come with me because that's the rule of the land. You're on the land. Your man's upstairs, pal. Yeah, down here, I'm the king. And Jesus went, oh, actually, yeah, I'm outnumbered here. My man's upstairs. Dad? No answer from Dad. I'm on my own. Right. So what he does, in scripture of the Bible, a fish appears, Tommy, in the sea. Nothing but a fish. And in this fish's mouth is a gold coin. And Jesus instructs the disciple, I forget, it might be Peter or Paul, I think it's a P. He asks the disciple to collect the gold coin from the fish's mouth and give it to the tax man. That there is an example of a trust. That was brought to us, by Richard Ansar, who's extensively looked at stuff and researched it and put his own time and diligence in there. I'm not going to tell you all the secrets of trust, but we will relate that to him. And I looked at that, I went, whoa. Oh. Okay, and I said, how did you learn that? He goes, he's looked into the cloth and the clergy, he's researched it. And I'm like, okay, so that's deep, that is. He goes, exactly, it's all there for you. And I'm like, that's an example of a trust. Of course it is, yeah, wow, there you go. So bang on, Tommy. I like that. I like it a lot.
And that's why they operate
rock on, Tommy. Rock on, Tommy. Sorry.
Rock on, Tommy. He won't know what that is. Explain it, David, what that is from.
Oh, Lord, that'd be an explanation.
That's what? No, Andy carry on. I yield, Andy. Go on.
Rock on, Tommy. It's a comedic duo that was quite famous here in England. And their catchphrase was "Rock on, Tommy," and he'd pull his braces.
Cannon Ball, Tommy Cannon and Bobby Ball, and they used to work down the pits in Yorkshire, allegedly through friends that I know, actually, and also I've got stories about the Arctic monkeys from Sheffield, but I can't tell them. But if you're in the private, I can. They're working down the pits, Tommy and Bobby. They set off the explosions to forward on with the coal mining and so forth before the famous, and as the explosion went off. They all cleared up and that, and they were like, whoa, it's rock on Tommy. And Tommy Ball's laid on the floor, the big old rock of coal on him. And the other lads like, rock on Tommy. And that's where it came from, allegedly. So for you youth, you don't know what we're on about. But for Tommy and sister Karen and Andy there, rock on Tommy.
Rock on, Tommy.
It is rock on, Tommy.
Yeah, there you go.
I was thinking Rod Stewart, to be fair, a little bit Rod-esque, maybe.
Rock on, Tommy. Rock
Thanks,
on,
dude.
man. Thank you, brother.
Who was the other one? Was it David Bowie? People said he looked like Tommy. David Bowie, Rod Stewart.
Yeah, that's,
Yeah, looks like the cover album.
That
For
hair.
Wake Up Maggie. Wake Up Maggie. Yeah.
yeah, well,
Totally Rod Stewart, man.
no,
Totally
it's,
Rod Stewart.
most 50-year-old, 55-year-old guys I know don't even have hair.
I'm half your age and I ain't got no hair.
It's because you're drinking piss, man.
Well, I don't know.
Or something.
It's also I don't know. Like I do a lot of like crazy fasting and stuff like that. I don't. I'm like a spiritual person. I'm not into ego too much. I just try and help people out the best I can.
Selfless.
I've always been
That's how we have to be.
always been a giver
Selfless.
and not a taker. You know, I don't mind. You know, I'm always a gentleman for when I deal with women and stuff like that. You know, I'm always a hard worker. I always had physical jobs. Like, well, when I was younger, I had easygoing jobs. When I got to my middle age, I was doing construction and trucking jobs and had a couple furniture stores on the go. I had my Halifax Regional Furniture Bank Society that helped out the needy there for like years and years. I provided 1,870 double beds to stranded passengers for the 9/11 incident from New York there, the World Trade Center, when the passengers couldn't land. So 5,000 people came to Halifax and 5,000 went to Gander, Newfoundland.
Mm-hmm.
And that was like a big job. I mean, I just always go. And then, like I said, but I'm like a strange cat. I'm like a black sheep. I don't associate with people that the elevator doesn't go to the top floor. I don't hang around people who are basically infected with parasites, I guess you would say. Mind parasites too. I don't know. I just try. Like I said, I live with my dog, and it's just been me and him for the last couple of years. I got a handful of ex-wives, and I got my grandkids and my kids, and like I said, I still got a 14-year-old boy. He's in Halifax now. I'm in Toronto. I've had to learn how to walk a couple of times in my life, like too many times. Last time I was in a coma for the better part of 5 months because I had a drug overdose about 15 years ago. And so that kind of put a different perspective on things. But even before that, I had bilateral fractured femurs, broken tibia, broken pelvis, 3 bone grafts, my left hip bone.
It's amazing that you're here, Tommy.
Yeah, well, I don't even take an Advil. Not a Tylenol. I don't take no pills. I don't take anything at all. I don't even go to the pharmacy. The only time I go to the pharmacy is just to get my distilled water, and it's just because I haven't got a distiller yet, and it's because I just haven't been able to afford it. Because with my grandkids and my son and birthdays and Christmases and all this kind of foolishness, and it's just hard enough for me some days just to make sure I got cigarettes, a couple grams of weed, and my dog got food. And, you know, I'm doing all right.
You wanted to be on this hangout to listen a bit about the water and stuff, didn't you?
Yeah, I really appreciate Dave's kick on the still water and the health aspect, because I really appreciate every video he puts out, and not only is it's interesting, but the way he comes across is very. It makes you want to stay and watch. It's not something that you're going to watch and want to change the channel kind of thing. When you want to watch Dave, I kind of lock my attention. It goes right to what he's saying and stuff. And I absorb it well, and I do take notes. And because this stuff is serious to me, I don't know. The only time I'm really
serious.
Well, I learned when I got out of school, right? The education, that bullshit they teach in school is just how to be a good repeater, right?
That's right.
And the stuff they teach the kids to repeat nowadays is like, you know, I feel like going and
Darwin's theory. Darwin's theory. It's just a theory.
Oh, yeah.
We didn't, it's just a theory. Nobody proved it, but yet we all came from apes, didn't we? Don't forget we came from apes.
Explosion.
What? Pardon my friend.
A piece of dirt 1/10 trillionth the size of a pinhead, 14.8 billion years ago, and somehow landed on this piece of this ball. I check this ball called Earth.
Atom.
Flat Earth,
4.8 billion years ago, some primordial gob of shit decided to turn into a fish that decided to become a monkey one day, and now all of a sudden we're walking around. But I guess the monkeys missed the boat.
No, because half of man on the planet, or roughly half of man, can be traced to rhesus monkey blood, and the other half of the man cannot. But then when you listen to David Icke, he says we've all got reptilian brains. So what are we? Man, monkey, reptile, an amalgamation of the Anunnaki and the Nephilim? Who knows what? You don't know, because we don't know. It's a crime to man that we don't know.
There's a million children go missing between England, Canada, and the United States every year. Right?
Oh God, Lord, we got to go to sleep. Yeah, I know.
Then you got to take a look at the Vatican. Okay, now if you understand the Vatican, if you look at that, take a look at that. The hall, the auditorium hall, just outside of St. Peter's Basilica, is a complete snake's head.
That's right. Yeah. You can see the eyes and the mouth.
You take a look at that Vatican from a 45-degree angle from an aerial view. It's a pregnant serpent with a crown on its head, right? And it's actually the sidewalk comes out, and it's a tongue, and the entire parquet that's where the Vatican Square there is all done in cobblestone. It looks like snake skin, right?
So yeah, we had a seminar in Liverpool on the Saturday, and somebody mentioned that they referenced the snake to the Vatican, didn't they, Andy? They said I even know about the snake. Was it Shadow Dynamics is his name on YouTube? He's a viewer that come to one of the seminars, Shadow Dynamics, and we shown a trust video with the snake. You've heard of serpents, haven't you? And usurping and usury, usurping our energy. The establishment, and the snake that told, allegedly talked to Eve back in the story. And you look at that could be a trust. That could be a trust situation again there with codes in the Bible. And we had Romilly Stewart. For those of you that wrote down Justinian Deception, and you're going to go to the Romilly Stewart videos on that channel, that YouTube channel, you'll find videos called Name, Ledger, Bait, Hierarchy, and those kind of videos. And you watch them and you'll see exactly what we're on about, and that will accelerate your learning. And he'll tell you in there about the Vatican, and about the Bible, and about the knowledge, the tree of knowledge, the tree of life, and certain things. And it's very deep.
Well, hey, just in the chat room, David, Jonathan says, I've just lost it now. Whoa, talk it, Indy.
Bless him. We do, yeah. It's what we do. We live and breathe it, don't we, Andy? We live and breathe this now.
Well, how else? We've been given the gift of communication to say our word and to speak our spell, and if it's the only way that we can get it across, then we've got to do it. We're compelled to do good and well and right by others. So if this is the only way that we can do it, then so it shall be. Because I can't write every man a letter. I don't know where they all live.
We didn't listen. I for one did not set out to enlighten anybody about Red Dwarf. Dave, everyone's dead, Dave. What do you mean dead? Everyone's dead, Dave. Red Dwarf. I've got all these crazy things, in my brain about being a kid and certain things. Bruce Willis, at the end of The Sixth Sense, the boy says to him, I see dead people. Well, I tell stories. Me and Andy tell stories now. And at the end of the story, you find out that you're the subject of the story. And at the end of the story, you find out that you're the dead person. And I go around telling people that they're dead and making them, well, me and Andy do, and the SPOspro.com family and trustees will do. And we'll go around telling the dead people that they're alive. We flip the script. You see, it's just sick. It really is, honestly, what's happened. And nobody's dead. For furthermore, as well, nobody is dead. Everybody is a sovereign, sentient, self-governing, being alive that is the trifecta, mind, body, and soul. And your persons are dead. Your legal persons are dead. They were never alive. So Mr. David Giaramita, Mr. Sovereign Smith, they're always been dead. So when your phone rings and they say, hello, can I speak to Mr. Tommy Ball? Yeah, and they say, all right, yeah, but he's not here right now. I'm his agent. And you say, all right, well, we'd like to speak to Mr. Tommy Ball. And you say, well, I'm Tommy. And they say, what's your date of birth, Tommy? Well, I was born in 1978, May. What day? Well, I don't know the day. I was little. It's hearsay. My date of birth is hearsay, to be fair. What's your surname, Tommy? Well, I'm of the family Ball. Yeah, the Ball family, the clan of Ball.
What? I haven't been knighted yet. The sword hasn't been across the shoulder, so I don't yet have a surname. Do forgive me. I'm just but a mere idiot and a peasant.
And it's like, yeah, we are idiots in the eyes of the law, idiots not legally trained. So you'll be saying to this telephone call handler that's trying to contract with you to get you to come to this name by the surname, date of birth, or other such details of your legal person, national insurance number, be aware. And you say these things, you have contracted and agreed to be that legal person because that's who they're looking for. So we say, Andy and I, that we are the authorized representative and agent in office. And if you would like to speak to the mister, you have to go through us, yeah, because we are the one that handle that. We are not the mister, and these call handlers don't have a Scooby-Doo about anything. So you just cut to the chase, save your time and your money, and go, are you legally trained? No, you're not. Right, I need to speak to someone who's legally trained. Can I have the email for your legal department? I will clear this debt, charge, claim, allegation with your legal department. And you get put to the legal department, and it's a bit like the Northamptonshire County Court Business Bulk Handling Centre in the United Kingdom, where there are no courts and there are no judges. But it's called the Northamptonshire County Court Business Bulk Handling Centre. So it's a court business bulk handling centre with no courts and judges. So what are you doing? Administrative fraud? We reckon so. Oh, yes. What? Do you get that? Do you like that, brother? Sisters? Do you see it now? Do you feel it? Do you know? You cognise that? Yeah, good. Because that's where you need to be. That's where we need you. That's where we need you.
You need us to understand things better.
There's no point me and Andy just knowing it. Yeah. Yes, sister.
Yeah. We each and all have our own perception, don't we? 10 of us could watch one movie and all have a different perception of it. We'll all see different narratives of it. Some might miss parts than others see, you know. So it's each to our own. But ultimately, we have to not only stand under, but understand where we're at, who we are at any given time is the basics of it.
The Walking Dead are going to come alive. We're going to turn them zombies into real live boys and girls, you know.
I'm going to take this opportunity to say thank you for having me on. It's the most beautiful thing. It's been emotional and everything, but I've got to go early tomorrow.
Really nice to meet you, Andy, and
thank you very much.
Your partner in the background.
Early bird catches the worm and all that, and I've got a little bit of servitude too. I've got a part-time little number. I'm not allowed to work full-time, such as my health implications. So the little that I am allowed to do, I like to go and do because I am the provider of the castle and the king of my kingdom and all that. So and I must get up early tomorrow, and I've got to endeavour to get a few hours rest before I go and drive that deadly machine around, because I drive something about that could quite easily cause a detrimental harm, loss and injury and death. So it's important to get me rest, and I would love to stop and chat. I've got much more to say. There's much more to give, and there is much more to learn.
Well, that means you'll have to come back,
including myself, you know. So
it's done.
It's been great, and thanks for having me, and I'll have to catch you all again.
No, it's been really nice to meet you. So thank you very much.
Bonjour.
Bonjour. Merci beaucoup.
Thank you, Andy.
Bless you, Andy. Love you, brother.
Just to say, David, we have been going for nearly 3 hours now.
Yeah, it's time to call it a day.
Do you want to call it a day, or is there anything else you'd like to say as you're on here?
No, we can call it a day, my love. We've done. I'll be back again with Andy if you want. We can carry on then.
Yeah, sure. It's been a really great hangout. Hopefully people have learnt some stuff today. And thank you so much for all your time and effort that you put into this.
There'll be tests next time. We'll test them. Yeah, thank you. It's all good fun. We try to make fun of it. It's all doom and gloom and demons and evil and black and seriousness and jail, and you may have broken the law. Well, you haven't broken the law, and you have got protection. That's all we need you to know. Yeah.
Yeah, you're like angels, aren't you, really? Because you're there to help us.
Yeah, we've got to. It's kind of, it does get a bit biblical at times. You do feel a bit like, holy crap, what are we doing here? This is a massive, serious message, and you're more bothered about going to football matches than actually sorting out the future of you, and stopping Big Barry coming. So yeah, we'll get there. It's crazy and scary all at the same time, isn't it?
Yeah, it's slightly unknown, isn't it? Because there's not, these things are beginning to change now, aren't they, for the future? So this is all a bit new anyway, isn't it? There's not many people like you.
No, because we've been confused and misled, and it's down to a lot of work of other people, not David and Andy, the admins in Sovereign Paralegals, like we said, John Harris, and the names that have been mentioned on here now with the study and the reference, and the amount of Richard Ansar's work that he's put in, because he was the one that fundamentally opened my eye to the debtor creditor and the legal and the lawful and the public and the private and the principle and the surety and the language, and it's like, whoa, where did you get this from, pal? And he learnt it by going to his own due diligence, and now he can offer that as a teaching course. So when you go on to that teaching course, I've got to be careful not to break the disclosure that we've got, to say that I'm not going to give and release all of the contents of his course, because that's not fair, because that's his life's work, well, his majority of his life's work. So what we do is say, this is what we know, this is what we can help you with, this is where it came from. Feel free to contact the man himself through no affiliation other than private, brotherly, sisterhood communication. It's your interest, and we'll do what we can to bring you up to speed. So when you actually feel like taking on the challenge, you'll be half ready, because half of the remedy that you're all seeking is actually knowing who you are, who you is, and who your persons are. Once you know that, you are home free, because that's true. It's all true. You hold the certificate of birth, though, the birth certificate even, and your ecclesiastical deed poll, as we've mentioned, and certain other declarations, and you tell that to a judge, and under the creator, nobody can tell you that that's not true. If you've not harmed anybody, you've got nothing to fear. But what happens is we get roped into debt, and that debt then becomes how we get into bigger trouble. And it's just suicides and stuff like that, people jumping off bridges, children going missing. There's a bigger picture here. There's a bigger thing at hand than money. Money's the mask of it. Money's how the machine works. So we understood the money, and we understood the judiciary, the fiduciary, and all the capacities and jurisdictions. And we don't know it all, not by far, but we know quite a bit, and we're willing to share, and we're willing to tell you where to go, like Steve McRae, Santos Bonacci, you guys, everywhere else that we've said, Romley Stewart, you mentioned the name earlier, Tommy, and you just keep dropping them names in and sharing it, all the information. It's not for profit. It's not to be made money of. Yeah, we asked for £12 for the annual membership, but that's because of the website costing stuff. And if we were to build a trust, imagine if we can have something that's protected forever, that runs by itself, by man, for man. That concept doesn't exist anywhere. It does in our minds, in our imagination. It's like George Carlin, Christianity. It's a great idea. When's it getting put into practice? Boom. God bless him.
Yeah, sometimes though we only get into these things, don't we, when we've been affected by things ourselves.
We got to pull you out the matrix and say, we've found the architect's design, we know the language, we know the things, we know who they are, we know where they are, we know what to say, what not to say, and don't ever poke the Queen. Yeah, we haven't done that. We don't poke the Queen. We just reside here, but we go all the way up to the levels.
She bows to the Pope, doesn't she?
Yes, she does. You see. This is it, the layers of echelons, and Tommy knows it with the history and the battles and all the blood that's been spilt and all of the borders that have been, lands that have been accumulated. It's very deep. Look at what Winston Churchill says on that £5. I have nothing to give but blood, sweat, and tears. Yeah, and they've immortalised him, but. Yeah, thank you. We've got a big mission, and we're doing very, very well. I'm so excited about this. I should have been abroad DJing and doing.
See, the world is changing. It is changing.
It definitely is. Yeah, if you see numbers, use them. Number 1111, the number significance is quite big at the minute. Synchronicities is big at the minute. Connectivity, and you'd probably call them miracles, but you call them what you want, coincidences or whatever, but they are happening. Yeah.
Cool. And yeah, I'm so glad things are changing and that other people are there to help, because it's such a, well, when you look at it, unless we find people like you, there is no help because nothing else works. None of it works. The law, the system just doesn't work anymore.
Yeah, it's designed that way. The NHS, the academic, the trustees are all running amok. The principals are running amok. The ones that lead us are telling us lies because they're talking to the people. They're collecting revenue on bonds that are secret. They don't even know. This is all happening in the background with the Treasury and the Inland Revenue and the American, routing Federal Reserve routing numbers that Heather exposed. And then you've got the Vatican underpinning that. So you've got the monarchy working for the Vatican, and the Vatican's controlling all the credit, which is why it's got all the gold at the bottom, and it contains Nazi stolen gold as well. So for those that don't believe it, then you find Nazi stolen gold in the house of God. You know that it's like when American pumps started selling Iraqi stolen oil and stuff, when they had all that ISIS stuff where that oil dropped and petrol went really low, and then they went, oh, we didn't realize it was coming from that. Of course you didn't. They're all in on it. It's a big scam. So we've just got to come out, put ourselves at risk and get this information out without ruining other people's livelihoods and giving you the basics of which you need to know. And then you can use your own due diligence and be protected at least and make your own decisions fully informed with the knowledge of the public liabilities and what they will be. And maybe that you don't want to take them. And so we'll show you ways where the rich don't get prosecuted and afford the liability to their public office and not the man. So that's why these elite and the ministers and the Grenfell Towers and the people that get caught in paedophilic scandals within the mainframe of the House of Commons and Lords step out of office and don't go to prison, because that's how you manage it. And we've watched it and thought, okay, then two can play that game, equality for all. What? We've seen it. We've cracked it wide open, and that's the pin now. You can't use it till you understand it. It's all right us telling you we've got the secret and we've got the remedies, but we haven't, because we need you to understand it. And until you understand it, you will never have that. So we're still snookered. And they've still won because you lot need to pick up the slack, and that's all we can do. So much respect to you, everybody on the panel, all of you viewers, for putting up with this madness.
You, David. Yeah, we really enjoy having you on and chatting and stuff like that. It's been a really great hangout. It seems a load of people watched it, so that's great.
Yeah, it's been good. It's been really good.
Yeah, and we will do this again. Flat Earth Dude, do you want to say anything?
No, I just been working and listening and chiming in occasionally. Thank you, David. I appreciate all your work.
You're
Tommy.
welcome, brother. You're welcome. This is international. We can help with the international issues, anything like that. This isn't an Anglo-England, United Kingdom isolated issue. This is a flat earth, plain issue, global issue, whatever you think it is, and you're on it. If you've got a certificate and you've got a person, it affects you. If you've got an SS number for the state social security or national insurance number for the European, then you have got an international monetary fund identification number right there. We call that an exemption number. That exemplifies you from payment if you use it right. That's why it's called a national insurance number. That's what Pirates of the Caribbean are on about. Access to the trust, for your bloodline trust, and only the pirate can open it with that bloodline. You get a key at 21. You get that key and you don't know what to do with it because you think it's for a door. So the closing line from Indigo is, we give you the key and we tell you that it's for the use of the CQV. You see, the use of the key, that's what it's for. Once you know it's not for a door, you'll unlock a whole lot more. I just made that up on the spot. I'm glad that's recorded. Get in. I'm going to put that in the track.
Yeah, and you made it rhyme at the end.
I don't know how that came out, let's see, but yeah, that's it. That's true right there. That's exactly what I'm giving you.
You're going to have to take this off and put that on your little video as a taster.
That's it, babe, brothers and sisters, right there. Enjoy.
Beautiful.
Patricia, do you want to say anything? Patricia, are you still there, Patricia?
I'm here.
Yeah, she's listening. She's not. Yeah, cool. You're still there. Do you want to say anything before we go? Did you enjoy this evening?
Yeah, David, there's people like you and some of the other names you've mentioned that made me realise that if I haven't signed a contract, then I'm not in a contract. And if they want money out of me, they have to prove that I had a contract with them in the first place. And what
Yep.
it says on my
Yeah,
cushion
that's
is,
right. Rebuttal. You rebut their claims. They are claiming, you are asserting and rebutting and asking for what we call, that's in honour when it's contractual and public. So you're staying in honour, you're accepting it, and you're asking for proof of claim, proof of authority, credit references, credit titles, contracts, agreements, signatures, anything with your prior consent, knowledge that wasn't deceived or tricked out of you. Yeah. Well done, sister. Thank you. And yeah, carry on. Carry on.
and it says on my cushion, clear the fear, because that is the biggest thing. Like Karen was saying about, she got a letter threatening her with the bailiffs, and I said to her, they just want to frighten you. They want you to pay. That's the agenda. It's not that you owe this money and you know, in her rights, she wasn't at fault. It was someone else that was at fault, and she shouldn't have had. I mean, I'll stop there, but
Yeah,
you know,
it's a civil
clear
issue.
the
It's not
fear.
criminal. Civil issue that isn't criminal. So therefore, it doesn't warrant any kind of police action. There's no kind of, you guys, if you get a claim of finance against you, it's never criminal. And that means it's always public and civil, which means you're protected up to the high hilt, to the back teeth. And we'll teach you that code of protection as well, that me and Andy have done when we call it repelling. We repel the arm of the crown or the establishment, you know, and yeah, well done. Yeah, it's true. It's the fear. There are only two true emotions, love and fear. The rest all stem from them. So you stay in the love and keep protecting yourselves and knowing that what's honourable and true and right and just and proper is that, you know. And these guys sometimes don't respect that, and they send big Barry around and he pushes in, and that's when we have real crimes, real bad crimes, you know, trespass, harm, injury for real. That's what we're worried about, you know, guys that are disabled, on crutches, elderly, medicated, victims of, you know, we can't afford to have that. And just because we can't see them doesn't mean to say they're not out there, not actually out there in danger, because they are. You know, this is the other bit, the society that can't look after itself, that's neglected. We need to pick them up, we need to nurture them, you know, the ones that are killing themselves daily. It's heartbreaking to see. It really is. And it's not through our ignorance, it's not through your stupidity, it's not because we're worthless, it's because we've been born into a den of evil. We were told, it was at school, we was told to tell the truth and be brought into line, and we did it all, and we got to be an adult, and then suddenly everything went wrong. What's going on? No one prepared us for this. To Walt Disney, you've got a lot to answer for. Walt Disney and your happy endings, you lied to me, Walt Disney, you lied. They're not happy endings. There is no Prince Charming. No, there is. I found a princess. I'm joking. There is. I was just calling Disney. I found a lovely lady, and I'm quite happy. We've got an extended family, and we're kicking arse. So we are going to laugh last. Trust me.
Rock on, David.
Rock on, man.
Bomb pot. Bless you.
Tommy, do you want to
That
say
was an
anything
epic
before we
hangout.
go? Sorry.
Thanks, Dave, and thanks to the chat and everybody on the panel. I love you all, and I just want everybody to have a good day. And I don't worry too much about the fear thing. Like, I think these guys get technology or something that they can actually get your energy through fear and stuff like this, right? You know, like that's why they build all these stadiums and stuff like that on ley lines and weird stuff. And the stadiums that they have are all sacred geometry is all applied and weird stuff like that. And if, I've been watching a lot of these buildings that I have in downtown Toronto and stuff, and some of them are really creepy, and a lot of them look like they could even be possible power generating stations if you understand static electricity whatsoever. But anyway, David, it's good to have you on, and appreciate you if you come back and stuff, because you always got all the bomb stuff to talk about. And I'm with you 100% in everything that you guys are doing, even with your health and waters and everything. And Andy, he was the best. And Karen, you had me when you gave me a wrench, dear. So I mean, I love you. And everybody else,
we love
have a
you,
good day. Much
That's
love.
so fun.
Can I just say one thing? My bill was for £40, and that's what they said, send the bailiffs in. But the only thing is, even if I did pay that, I do have a choice, because I ain't going to SKY anymore. I'm not using that service anymore. So they've lost my, I will never go watch that again through them. Even if I do watch it through something else, but I'm not going back to that business again. So they've lost my me forever, and I was a customer for years. But on that note, thank you very much to Andy. Thank you very much to Astral. Thank you very much to Flat Earth Dude. Thank you very much to Patricia. Thank you very much to Tommy. And of course, thank you very much to David.
Thank you. Ciao, Bello. Much love.
Thank you. And we would 10-10 do we do this again. And we're back tomorrow. So see everybody tomorrow with Peter and Pete. So see you tomorrow. Bye, everybody. Thank you. Mwah. Everybody on the channel. And mwah. Everybody in the chat.
Love you all. Bye.
Bye, everybody.